Okay.
We are live now.
Okay. All right. Let's do this. Well, that would be enough of that. I don't need any of that. All right. This week on the Media Virus Podcast, since they successfully eradicated smoking entirely, the Surgeon General wants to put warning labels on social media. Justin Timberlake got taken for a ride by the cops and charged with DWI. And newly released documents suggest that President Biden may have been training his German Shepherd puppy Commander to eat his protection detail. It's the Media Virus Podcast. Let's point and laugh at the world burning around us with executive producer Mike Latoris. We're going to start over. BBC correspondent Stanley McFadden.
Makes me tingly in an unfamiliar way.
Grease Monkey Pete.
Damn, Big Daddy.
Here's the thing about the Media Virus Podcast. It's really well done.
And now, spreading the sage nihilism of an aged Gen Xer, your host and mine, the star of our show, the incomparable Maddie Rockdeath.
Hot damn, do we have a show for you people this week. I am Maddie Rockdeath, the mattiest of all of the Rockdeaths, and proof positive that anyone can have a podcast. Speaking of, you're listening to it. Welcome to the Media Virus Podcast. Please like, subscribe, follow, and share. I want to thank the new subscribers. Anybody that's just joining us and just discovering our little party here once a week. Thank you for hanging out with us and everything. We do appreciate it. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Facebook, if you're following us on YouTube and Apple Podcasts, Podbean, there's a whole bunch of them. Whatever, or if you're just checking us out on themediavirus.com, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
And as always, you can give us a call here at 646-VIRUS-01. That is 646-VIRUS-01. And give us a call. You're going to be on the show. That's a fun thing happening. Yeah. Later on the B block, we have a guest coming on. His name is Stephen Marks. He's going to tell us all about his super PAC, and we're going to find out what a super PAC is, and that's pretty fun. But he wrote a book back in 2007 called Confessions of a Political Hitman. That's
oh my.
Yeah. So stick around for that. But I forgot which story we had slated to go first. So we were talking yesterday, Mike and I. Mike and I had a very Gen X.
We did
encounter, or we performed a Gen X activity, which
Were
was
you leaving a voicemail?
Yes.
More Gen X.
We'll end it with give me a buzz.
No, but I was like, oh, give me a call on the blower. I'm on the horn. Get him on the horn.
Get him on the horn.
But I was, out, and I just decided that I wanted to stop and see Mike.
So he beeped me on my pager.
Yeah. What's that?
So you beeped me on my pager.
That's right. Actually,
worse than that, you just showed up at his house.
Well, he had to give me his address.
You actually still have a pager?
No.
Yes, Pete. Yes, I hit him. I called him on an actual pager.
Actually,
I put 911, so he knew it was an emergency.
911 80085. That's how he knew that it was Matt.
It was a legitimate question. They still make them.
Yeah, I actually probably still have a physical pager around here, and I could probably get it turned on if there's anybody who would do it.
If you can probably do it at Blockbuster, I think.
At the shipmate building, we had this room that I called the antiquated technology room.
Uh-huh.
Because it was filled with antiquated technology.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit. It was a treasure trove of antiquated technology.
They had telephones.
They did cordless phones, 6 gigahertz cordless phones. They had cash registers. Well, me and Billy dug up it was a combination. It was 2 things in one.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pager and a watch.
Ooh.
Oh.
So you didn't have to clip that shit to your.
No.
You just look at
You
it.
could just have a watch.
OG Apple Watch vibes.
Right, and they're two of the most useless things now.
Do you remember the old high band pagers that were actually before the alphanumerics that a little voice message came screaming out of?
I do, because my mother used to leave messages for my dad at work. And whenever the message was from my mother, everyone around him would stand at attention and called her the Sarge. Because
like I used to know a guy that came into a business where I worked who wore one, and it was a Motorola product. And if you've ever known a firefighter, it's the same technology that they use for fire calls. So the high band fire pager, you can actually hear the dispatch on there, and when your company's tones go off is when you hear it. So you could actually go and get one of these for your business or for yourself and wear it. And when somebody called your number and left they got a little message that was like a voicemail and said, "Hey, leave your message for so and so," and you'd leave the message, and then the pager would go, and it would repeat. It would play the message out loud. And then it would play it a second time, and that was it.
Yeah. But
I could have so much fun with that.
You couldn't stop it or control it. So if you were in public and somebody didn't like you and was like, "Hey, Matt, go fuck yourself," you'd be standing there, "Oh, excuse me, I'm getting a message." You go, "Hey, Matt, go fuck yourself."
Hey, Matt, the results of your herpes test came back positive.
But speaking of Generation X, the warning label. We were talking about warning labels on cigarettes.
Yeah,
and
that stopped us all from smoking altogether.
No, it didn't bother me one fucking bit. It was the time in the hospital that
it was like I'll just look
really
at the other side of the pack. There we go. Let's turn that pack right over.
Now, I did mention later on in the program we are going to have Stephen Marks come on and tell us about what he's going on. The guy that made contact with me is joining us now. I'm just going to pop out and say hi to this guy.
Okay.
What's going on, Kadin? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
We're doing great, dude. We're just we're doing through the first part of our show. And then, Steven said he was coming on around 9, right?
Right.
Fantastic.
If you want to hang out with us, that's fine.
Yeah, if you want to hang out with us, that's cool. We're just going to, if you got a joke to make, if you got something, you think something's funny, just say it. That's how this works. Kadin, I can tell you, I can almost guarantee that we are significantly older than you.
Unless you're doing that 18 filter that I can't seem to find on this.
I don't know.
I'm 19.
I don't think it is. What's that?
I'm 19 years old, about to be 20.
You're only 19. Yeah, 19. It's brand new. Welcome to adulthood, dude. That sucks. I wish I was still a kid. I really do. But and we were talking about the warning labels on cigarettes. And but back before, like, I remember as a child that it being there was no warning label on cigarettes.
Not a big one anyway. It was very tiny.
Well, I didn't remember one at all. I mean, my mom used to send me to the store for Benson and Hedges lights. And there was no.
Well, they didn't
on
have
Mad Men. They talked about it. On Mad Men, they talked about when they had to put the label on the cigarettes, and people were still buying them.
They were there, but like back then, they didn't have to have a white background with big bold black letters. So what they would do is like on the Benson and Hedges, where the pack was gold, or if they were menthol, it was green and kind of metallic. They had an ink that was just about a shade darker that you could barely see without like glasses and a lot of light.
Mm-hmm.
They would just print the warning that way, and most people didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, it just had
You
to be
guys
on
hear
a
the
box.
jackass is setting off fireworks in the?
No.
You guys hear that or no? All right.
No, you're doing just fine.
All right. I don't know because I keep getting swirly, so I don't know what we're having a big problem tonight.
Okay.
But the Surgeon General is wants to put warning label on something else.
Yeah, it's he wants to
He
put
thinks
warning labels
that,
on social media.
He thinks that social media needs to come with, of course.
Needs to come with.
Well, what interrupted me was my background falling down.
That's fine. But
Yeah.
What are we?
I thought you changed it.
Warning label on social media.
Warning label on social media apps. How would that work? Like, would it be on your phone before you open the app, or?
Yeah, it would probably be a nag screen. In a significant move aimed at safeguarding the mental health of young Americans, U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Vivek Murthy has issued a formal advisory advocating for the placement of warning labels on social media apps. This announcement, made on June 17th, is the latest effort by the Biden administration to address the growing concerns surrounding mental health and well-being of adolescents and young adults who are frequent users of these platforms. Dr. Murthy's advisory highlights the potential risks that social media can pose to the mental health of young users. He emphasizes that while these platforms can provide avenues of connection and self-expression, they also carry significant dangers. These include exposure to cyberbullying, body image issues, and the negative impacts of excessive screen time. The Surgeon General's office has called on tech companies to make immediate action to implement these warning labels, similar to the ones found on cigarette packs or alcoholic beverages, to alert users to the potential risks associated with social media use. The advisory also urges parents, educators, and policymakers to be more vigilant and proactive in protecting children from these risks. It suggests that parents set boundaries around social media use and encourages schools to incorporate digital literacy and mental health education in their curricula. Policymakers are being asked to support research and legislation aimed at mitigating the harmful effects of social media. This move comes in response
I think the government should stay out of my freedom.
I don't know. I don't mind this at all, actually.
What?
I don't really mind this. The part about like they're going to teach like awareness in schools, because there are parents who are not paying attention to what their kids are doing online. And like all of those things that they want to put on the label are super true.
But where does this stop though? I mean, Mike and I were just having this conversation when they first, made, drinking and driving like DWI a crime, so to speak.
It's very much a crime.
Okay. When they first made it, like it used to be just a fine, like it was a $50 fine.
Right.
Right. But when they made it a federal, it was mandated.
It's danger.
Right.
Whoa.
The nanny state had to tell us what to do.
Is that okay? I think you're just on the extreme other side.
But when drunk driving, you had to blow up a 1.0.
0.10.
Right?
Yeah, 0.10.
0.8.
Now it's 0.08. It's not even 0.8. It's
0.08.
Yeah, people shouldn't be drinking and driving. This is how you learn things. People make the mistakes and then you make the rules to fix them.
And then they fucking made all these seatbelt laws.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is
people alive is the government's fucking vibe.
They took all the steel out of the cars and we can't bump them into each other anymore.
See?
That's why they had
now you can't even get in you can't ram somebody at more than 5 miles an hour. Your airbags it's going to cost you $1,000 per airbag.
So back to the kids. I feel like it's weird that it's coming from the Surgeon General, but I do love that like schools might be teaching these kids that the internet kind of sucks. Like I don't hate that part.
No,
it is weird because it's like, where are you going to put this label?
It's going to be a nag.
Like, do we have? Is it like
allowed to play?
But is it like a trick? Like, is it like every time you open the app, you got to look at this warning?
Probably, yeah.
I don't want that.
Like on porn? Are you 18 years old? Uh-huh.
Yeah, but But that comes with a, hey, don't ask me that. Save a cookie to my machine and don't ask me that next time.
Right.
But
I don't know.
Like, is it every third post going to be like you go on TikTok? Every third post is a commercial.
Yeah, I mean that's just America.
So are we just going to have like every 9 posts going to be like, hey, you know, this is dangerous for you?
Well, there's that one. Okay, so listen, I've had this conversation with a couple people. I'm not on TikTok super frequently anymore, but when I would be doom scrolling like before bed or like at work, I would get this message that would be like this guy that would be like, "Hey, you've been scrolling for a long time. Maybe you should get up and stretch a little." Or like they'd be like, "Oh, go get a glass of water. You've been scrolling for a while." Like, has anyone else seen this? Because you're looking at me like you've never.
That guy retired.
No, I've seen something like that.
That guy retired.
Maybe, you know.
I remember when
that guy gave up.
Do that. Like if you were binge watching something after the second episode, it's
Are
like,
you still there?
Well, there's that, and there was one like,
yeah,
you should get up
well,
and go.
Like
walk
I
around
just like
outside.
I feel like that's a positive thing, and I don't think it was like a guy who was like, you know what, I'm gonna make like that was from TikTok.
Well, yeah,
like TikTok was looking out for you if you were on there too long, and I feel like I don't mind this story. I don't mind if they do this. I don't mind if they teach kids that you should not get validation from the fucking internet. It's fine.
Well, yeah, but that should come from the home too.
Okay,
like that's
most homes
Yeah,
are
exactly.
worse.
Exactly. It's like I always say, if the parents don't teach those rules and worship people like Puff Daddy or Andrew Tate or Alex Jones, more likely than not, the child's going to do the exact same thing. It's a scary thing. So I actually support this too. Ew, all the Gen Z.
No, of course.
All the Gen
Well,
Z.
of course, I support it.
Do you?
Yeah, I just had I was trying
You
to.
just have to complain about it first.
Yeah, I got to stop. But also, I had to bring up DWI so we could talk about Justin Timberlake later. But I did it too early.
Oh, JT.
But I mean, I forget the point I was going to make. But I do think it's like we need to edge. Like this all starts at home.
Right.
Is the point?
There's also
like maybe
some
like
adults, even some millennial adults, who suck at using the internet and are fucking weirdos online and posting their fucking business. And like, to each his own. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. And if there's influencers who fucking make money off of sharing too much, then go ahead and get the bag. But I just feel like there's plenty of people who are grown adults who don't know how to use the internet. And then if those people are procreating, then
that is scary, right?
Huh?
I said that is a bit scary, right?
Very much so. Very much so. And I saw in the news that the House is passing a bill where people ages 18 through 26 get automatically registered for the draft now. And you know what?
Right.
I actually support it because at least then they won't be on social media and inspiring to be TikTok influencers. So,
I mean,
generation,
it's like something else to do.
The big secret there is that we all had to go to the post office and do that anyway. It's the law, but nobody was doing it.
Yeah, exactly. My generation whines and complains and moans and groans and wants to be TikTok influencers, social media influencers. So my generation, if you're watching, to all the TikTok influencers, whiny brats, protesters, and everyone else who feels entitled, we have a job for you. The military, skedaddle, get going. You're already
get going.
Oh no, I mean,
get
listen,
your haircut.
You know, Israel is one of the strongest militaries in the world.
Yep.
And their children.
2 years. They got to put in 2 years.
Yeah, before
and then they get called. You get called up if it gets bad. You get
right.
Yeah,
but you got to serve 2 years. Was it Is it Switzerland? They stay neutral.
Yep.
But every motherfucker's trained, and everybody has a gun, and there's a bunker under every house.
And there's
that's how they remained. That's how they remain neutral.
They also have compulsory service, like you mentioned for Israel. I believe they also have compulsory service where you've got to do your 2 years. it's got to be sometime between 18 and 25 or something. Like you pick out the 2 years you want to go and go. So I mean, I don't think there's anything all that terrible about it. Kind of glad I didn't have to do it myself, but you know,
I mean, we did. We did have to. We just didn't. You know what I mean? I don't think I mean, registering to vote's kind of the same thing, right?
No, that's an absolute choice. You
register
can choose not to do that. With selective service, they started banging on us.
Oh no, wait, no, I did. My dad made me.
Well, I mean,
I did do that.
It's right there on like your permit form and your driver's license form. You might as well. You're just ignoring a whole part of the form if you're not.
But for selective service, you don't know about this, Erica, because you don't have a penis. But we all had to go to the post office and fill out a form, and they gave us they ripped a portion of it out and gave it back to us with a little stamp on it. It was a card, and it was your selective service card where you wrote down your name and some identifying details, and you checked the little box for which branch of the service you would like to go into if they decided to have a draft.
Mm-hmm.
And then if your number gets pulled, you go to war.
Yep.
Like on Captain America.
Well, yes, if that's your only point of reference, then
no, I have more points of reference because I know about a draft.
But now they're drafting women.
No,
What's up?
They're not.
No, it's written for men only again. Actually, the reason that it popped up recently as a meme is because after all of the talk of changing the government forms so that they were more inclusive with multiple genders and different boxes to check, the selective service form is for men only. Have a nice day.
Right. So, what is a man? If we can't define a woman, we can't define a man.
Oh, my other point of reference is This Is Us. Remember the brother?
Oh yeah, the brother got drafted. Yeah,
he was real depressed about it.
Yeah. All right, good. That's.
All right. We'll have to find you some other TV to watch. Speaking of watching TV, if you've been on TMZ recently, you know that in entertainment news, Justin Timberlake has made headlines after being arrested for allegedly driving while intoxicated in the Hamptons. The incident occurred late Saturday night when Timberlake was pulled over by police for erratic driving. According to sources, the singer exhibited signs of intoxication leading to his arrest at the scene. Timberlake, 43, is facing charges of driving while intoxicated and reckless driving. This marks a significant legal issue for the pop star, who has maintained a relatively clean public image throughout his career. The arrest has sparked widespread media coverage, and Timberlake's representatives have yet to release an official statement regarding the incident. This arrest comes at a time when
he's in his 40s, right?
43, yeah.
JT, he's in his dude. If you've gone 43 years without a DUI, without just a squeaky clean, like there's no sexual allegations against him, is there?
There was a weird, not sexual allegations, but there's a thing in Britney's book about they had a schmishmorshman. And
Britney's a psycho.
She's not.
She is.
She's abused.
Still makes her. I mean, it's still crazy. Crazy's crazy.
That's.
Yeah.
I think.
It doesn't matter how you get there. Crazy is crazy.
That we watch, we know that that's a derogatory term, and you can't use that word.
I can use whatever word I want. When the founding fathers were writing the amendments to the Constitution, the first one they put in was you can say whatever the fuck you want, and then the second thing they put in was, and you can have a gun in case someone disagrees with you.
You're gonna get canceled. But so I did watch something about on TM. It was like a very short snippet that I read or watched a video on. I don't even remember. But the officer who arrested Justin Timberlake was so young that he did not recognize the name or the face.
That's fantastic.
That's awesome.
And he was like, I don't know you. And so Justin said, like, what did he say?
Justin muttered under his breath, "This is going to ruin the tour."
Right. And the guy said, "What tour?" And he's like, "The world tour."
The world tour.
So sad.
And so that's confirmation that NSYNC is going back on the road because they have not come out and said it.
It could be just JT.
It's
Yeah.
not trust. It's
Yeah, it's most likely just JT. And how young was the arresting officer? My generation doesn't even know who Justin Timberlake is anymore.
honestly, I mean, maybe he's just not a pop culture.
Hey, maybe he's
girly.
fucking cool and listens to punk rock and doesn't bother with that fucking pop shit. You know what I mean?
Sure,
That's a
sure,
possibility.
sure.
That's a possibility.
That's a
But
distinct.
We can
So I mean,
hear that. That's a possibility.
you know,
I don't know.
it's kind of a shame that he got caught up in this, and it doesn't indicate, they don't give any indication of how badly he failed the roadside test. I mean, it doesn't take much anymore, which was what we were talking about before. Matt and I are old, and Pete, we're old enough to remember when if it started to look like you were going to fail that roadside test, but not too bad,
Mhm.
the cop might say, "You know what, buddy? Let me follow you home." Not that was a
They
good.
used to cut your brakes and shit.
Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean, they could easily be cutting people breaks now, but he didn't cut this break.
Well,
They can't cut the same brakes that they used to. Like they used to be like, "Hey, you know what?
on downstairs.
I feel like you've had a few, so let me follow you home." And they would.
I just feel like this is a white man's perspective. Like, cops used to be nice to us.
No,
Fucked.
I'm not saying that at all.
Cops used to be lenient and let us break the law a little bit.
There was a different mentality of what was a problem.
Sure.
That's
Not right,
But,
not whether it was right or wrong, but there was a different way of.
I just feel like if whatever time frame you're talking about when these cops were more lenient than they are now, I could find a black man that's like, that's never fucking happened. Are you joking?
Well, I mean,
well, yeah. Dre has explained to us that our encounters with police would not
Yeah,
have been the same,
It's not the same.
and we understand that, because we're on the good side of it.
Oh, good for you.
But who is really, really strict?
the
And that
Secret
is
Service.
this. Well, hang on, I lost it. Here we go.
Yep. Commander bites. President Biden's German Shepherd Commander has found himself in the doghouse yet again. According to recent reports, the presidential pooch has been involved in more biting incidents, marking his, well, this one says 11th, but what the actual story is there's been a recent report that's come out with some more documentation that surrounds Commander's biting incidents against the Secret Service. Originally, or up until this week, we were aware of about 24 events. It's turns out that there's been about 36 biting events.
What a bad dog.
Dozen. That's 12. There's 36 times this dog has bitten Secret Service agents.
Okay, he's still a good boy.
I mean, I would say he doesn't need Secret Service agents because of this fucking dog.
Well, the other side of it
But
is
who's going to get close to Biden with this dog?
well, that's the issue. Every time that it's happened, it's been when an agent has tried to approach, or the dog sensed that someone thought that someone was trying to approach the president. So, I don't know how you specifically tell the dog, "Hey, these guys are okay. It's everybody else you have to worry about." But when somebody he's not particularly familiar with comes at dad, what do you do as a dog? You stop it. Not that it's a good thing. Biting's bad. And I fully endorse that the president should have better control over his animal, but
right.
We're in a situation where the dog was just doing what he thought his job was. I've got to protect this guy who I rely on to feed me.
I mean, think about it. Everybody's like, I don't know the level of tension, but there's a level of tension at all times.
Absolutely.
And dogs feel that shit.
Absolutely. Dogs
And they
are
don't know why they're feeling it. Like it's always in the White House, right? It's always like it's never like at home.
right. It's always been at the White House.
So he's in a strange place where all these people are fucking acting strange. There's too many people around, and they're all trying to get near his dad. But you know,
Yeah, I'm kind of on the
still
dog.
not. You don't want to go to work every day and be worried that you're going to get bit by a dog.
No, and it actually got to a point where the protection detail, when they would talk mid shift or at when they're going crossover, tell you, oh, have a safe shift, commander's there.
Oh, that's what that's from.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Or all of them.
Or it would be, hey, somebody got bit today, watch out.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
So just a real quick, I stumbled upon this, but I also know that Pete stumbled upon this, and I don't know if Pete has more information about it, but Hers potato chips came out with some new flavors. Philly potato chips. And one of them is pierogi flavored, which sounds like it would be my personal favorite. Did you try these, Pete?
I have not personally tried them, but if I see them, I probably will, partake of them. The other flavor was stromboli.
Yes, special hot stromboli.
Oh shit!
And there's one other one.
Yes, cheese ravioli and marinara.
That's right, cheese ravioli.
And so these are flavored by Philly local restaurants that I'm not familiar with because I don't know these people. But I do know the pierogi one because that's Mom's Kitchen, which is a Fishtown staple that I follow on the internet.
Ooh.
And so we love this for them. I want to try the pierogi one. Onions and potatoes.
They're available at Walmart. Apparently.
That's cute. They had like hoagie flavored ones.
Right.
Like they had like a long hot flavor and like a pickle flavor and stuff. They had them in Wawa. So I'm gonna peruse around and find out.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind trying the pierogi flavored potato chips.
Because it'd be potato, which is what chips are.
Right.
Sour cream, which like sour cream and onion. And then
onion.
So sour cream.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are they sour cream and onion pasta?
But it's going to have a different profile of those things. It's not going to be the sharp fresh. It's going to be the together.
It'll be caramelized, right? So they might be a little.
Yeah, they're going to have different notes.
So that's an upcoming TMVP.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out.
We're at
and Steven has joined us, so we're going to take a break real quick and
get our guest.
So why don't you read it? Yeah, get everything ready.
Right.
Why don't you read us out, Mike?
All right. Today's top 3 news has been brought to you by 302-46 Voice. If you want my voice on your project, you can hit me up at 302-46 Voice. My Sports Art Shop. You can check them out over at redbubble.com and mysportsreports.com. Stepmoms Without Children are that's one of the other shows here on the network with us. You can catch Ricky. Hey, say hi, Ricky.
Hi, Ricky.
You can check out her podcast. She's on Spotify, and you can also catch her at themediavirus.com with us. She's here on the network with us. Disruptive Minds is our staff writer Bill's podcast, and also brought to you tonight by The Boog. It's a film by Red Cup Films, which is out on Blu-ray now. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the A Block on the 189th episode of the Media Virus Podcast. After the break, we're going to talk with political hitman and author Stephen Marks about what he does, and we're going to find out what Big Daddy wants to ask us this week in Big Daddy Asks number 23. Once again, this has been episode 189A. We'll be back right after this.
That's the one thing we can't do here.
All right, Matt,
No, apparently we don't have the option of pausing.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, we're still streaming, but we're here.
All right,
Yeah,
everybody.
we're still streaming.
Probably want to.
I'm
Later,
gonna
man.
get out of here. You guys have a good rest of the show. I'll see if I can pop back in for C Block.
All right.
Bye, Pete.
Later.
Bye.
All right.
Mike, could you not hear me?
I hear you. What? I sort of stopped.
When you said say hi, Ricky, I said hi, Ricky.
Not at first. I then did hear you.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Huh. All right. Well, we were under the impression you could pause the stream, but apparently you can't. So Mike's going to hurry up and change tape.
Steven, I think you're on mute, love.
No. He's not muted. He's just.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
your
happening
microphone's not connected.
Steven will have to do the phone thing, unfortunately. This happened last time, too. We did it so, Maddie. So we'll most likely have to use phones to...
Yeah, I can't hear anything again. Can you not hear me?
Well, I can hear you now since you're on the phone. Maddie, can you hear Steven clearly?
I mean, I can hear him a little bit. Mike.
Give me a minute to get saved here, and we'll get him on Virus 01 and do a phoner.
Kadin, is the same thing happening as last time?
Yeah, most likely. It might be your device if it's happening on StreamYard now.
I know, but it's been working all week. Hold on, let me move the thing around a little bit.
And if you go
It
into
shouldn't really
settings,
you don't hear me now, do you?
Yeah, I can hear you on the phone, but not on my computer.
Right.
If you go into the StreamYard, you should have settings where you can choose your devices. You may have to. It may not have the right microphone chosen. It may.
Can you say that again? I'm sorry.
When you go into StreamYard audio settings, you may have to choose a different
Right.
audio device. It may not have the proper audio device selected.
Is there anything I can do about that?
You should have a way to access settings in StreamYard, and it would be audio and
Okay. I'm technologically challenged from that generation. So on the bottom, there's a little thing that says hide chat that's got an X through it.
no,
Does that have anything to do with anything?
no, the chat's not going to make a bit of difference.
All right, so tell me how to do what you just suggested. Go to settings.
Bear with me just a second. Let me get my screen to
Take your
where I
time.
can have a better idea what you're looking at.
Okay, because I can't hear anyone or myself. I mean, I hear on the phone, but I don't
Okay.
hear anything on the computer.
So along the bottom, you should have a strip that has mute, stop camera, and settings.
Yes.
You want to go to settings,
Right.
and in settings, you should have general camera and audio. You want to choose
Right.
audio and choose audio, and
the
then
one that's been camera is bolded, but audio is not.
okay, it won't let you choose audio at all.
I mean, no. Should I click on it?
Yes, you want to go ahead and click that audio,
I did just now.
and you should have
It says
one for mic and
says
one for
full
speaker.
external microphone, and then the other one says that says the mic, and then for speaker. Oh, I see when I'm talking. I did see the button. The little, what do you call them? Little round things are moving, and the speaker says default speakers, headphones, realty, and test. So I've got the mic volume is like halfway up. Should I turn it up higher?
There should be an option.
Again,
for,
I don't hear anything right now.
there should be a checkbox at the bottom for automatically adjust mic volume.
Okay,
And then-
got it. All right, I
and-
just did that.
And then next to where you choose your speakers, there should be a test button.
Yes.
If you hit that and see if you actually get some audio that way.
It says playing, but I don't get any audio.
Okay, so that's going to be at least part of the problem. So what we want to do is next to that, that when you click in that box where it says default, it should drop down and give you some other choices.
Correct.
And do you have
one says communications, speaker headphones, and one says speakers, headphones, Realtek high definition audio. But the one that we're on right now is the default, speakers, headphones, Realtek high definition audio.
Okay.
We'll try the other one.
Yeah, try one of the
communication. The one says communications.
Yeah, I mean that would be the next best choice.
Okay, no, that's not. I'm on that now, and that's not doing anything. I'll try the third one. Testing. No, it's not working either. What about the mic on the top where it says default? There's several on those as well.
You should have an internal or an external option.
External microphone, yeah.
Do you have an external microphone plugged into your machine?
No.
Well, then we want to look for an on-board option.
Okay, so where would that be?
It would be if you click in that box, under default, it should also lay out like communications, maybe a microphone array, any other microphones that are available.
But the communication says the same thing. It says external microphone. It says the exact same thing as it does 2 lines down.
Okay.
External microphone, Realtek high definition audio. And that appears to be the default one because the default one says the same exact thing.
Okay.
Is there one that doesn't say external?
Yeah, there's one that says microphone, and then it just says
We'll try that one.
Definition audio. Should I hit
Try that one.
Yeah, try that one.
Okay, I just hit that, but I'm still not hearing anything. Or my picture came up just now.
And
also, whatever.
Hayden, put the phone on mute because I think he's coming through.
I know something's working because.
Now I hear you. I hear you now.
Hello.
There we
are.
There
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
All right.
The buttons are moving.
Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear us, Steven?
Steven, double check your volume is all the way up.
The buttons are moving.
Okay.
We can hear you, Steven.
He can't
hear you through the laptop now, but
we can hear you now, but the volume on your computer might not be up.
Okay, because the buttons are moving on the mic, so it means, but
Yeah.
I can't hear any of you.
Now we need to work out.
Should I X out of this thing that says setting?
Well, we need to work on the speaker issue so you can hear us.
Oh, I see. Okay, so the speaker.
We kind of want to do the same thing. We want to go in and find the option for a speaker that's commensurate to what you chose for a microphone.
Got it. I like that
Click on
word.
audio.
Commensurate. Okay. I've got, again, it's the same thing as before. I've got 3 choices that are all pretty much the same. One says default, speaker, headphones, Realtek, high definition audio. Second one says communication, speaker, headphones, Realtek, high definition audio. The third one just says speakers, high tech. It says speakers, headphones, Realtek, high definition audio.
Choose that
and
one.
Then underneath that, it just says reduce background noise, and I automatically adjusted my volume.
So on that drop down, just pick any of the other ones that aren't selected right now.
Take the one.
All right.
That just
I
says.
just hit 1. That doesn't work, and I'll try the second one. That doesn't
Hey, how
work.
you doing? That doesn't work.
Third one.
Hey, how you doing? No?
Just maybe the volume on your machine is down.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at that before I went on, and I put it all the way up. So,
Is there a volume on
is there a volume on your end that I can move?
No.
No.
All right. Well, I can't. This thing is sort of taking up my whole screen. The thing that says settings. Should I get out of it or stay on it?
Well, so
I think
that Kadin, if you mute him on the phone, if you mute yourself on the phone. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I hear everybody
on the phone.
on the phone.
Okay,
Yeah.
so what if you mute yourself on your phone? If you hit the mute button,
We can mute Caden's mic from here. Matt, go ahead and mute Caden. That way.
well, then we can't hear Caden talk though. Steven, if you look on your phone, there should be a mute button to mute the conversation so that you can hear us through the phone through Caden's computer, and then like we can hear you twice on both your laptop and on Caden's phone. So press the mute button on your phone. Yep, you got it.
I just put a speaker on my phone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Can you also hit the mute button on the phone? It looks like a microphone.
Okay, but I hear you fine, by the way, but I'll hit the mute. Okay.
All right, awesome. So now you can hear us through your phone, and we can hear you through your laptop.
That's pretty high tech what you did there. I'm very impressed. Except
that's why I surround myself. That's why I surround myself with these people, Steve. You know what I mean?
Delay on my voice though. A little, like about a second.
You have a what?
A delay on my voice.
Yeah.
I'm getting an echo. Are you still muted on the phone? The microphone circle is lit up.
Yes.
Oh, you know what? He's hearing himself on the show.
Right. Because he doesn't have a mic picking it up.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Because now I don't hear myself at all. I don't.
Oh, wonderful. You hear me? Yep, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
Well, I don't hear myself, but I hear myself just because I'm talking. So this would be okay, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll X out of this thing. All right, how does that sound now?
We can make that work.
Hayden, what if you turn your volume down?
Okay.
Like your phone volume?
Well, because he's got to pass it through.
All right.
It's got to pass through.
Is that any better right now?
I can live with it.
Should I
Yeah,
make
it's
it
good.
even lower?
I can live with it.
No,
I'll
you're
go a little
fine.
lower.
Wouldn't it be on Caden's phone that's causing the feedback?
I don't know. I've never. You know,
because Caden doesn't need to hear the phone.
Steven, we have a phone number that you can call.
Yeah, if we mute you all together, since you can just call into the phone, we'll just use the video from this.
Okay, I can hear and see everything fine now.
Yeah, but we're getting an echo of your voice.
Okay.
And
it's gonna kill
it's just makes it unlistenable.
Okay. So how about hang up the phone? We're going to give you a phone number, but you're going to hang up the phone with Caden and call the phone number, and then you can still stay on the video chat, just because that's always easier to have a conversation through video.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, what's the number?
646.
I'm sorry?
It's going to be 646. 847. 8701.
All right, should I call it now?
Yep.
Yes.
And I'll pick up.
Is it open?
It is.
Okay.
The Media Virus Podcast.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can.
I'm going to put the speaker on this.
We're fine. I've got a good phone phone connection now, and I just need to come down here and okay, good. I think we're good.
Now,
Steven, say something.
I can't hear him, Mike.
Now I can't hear Maddie.
Oh, this is killing me.
I'm sorry.
No, not you. I don't understand why.
I can hear. Actually, I don't. Whoever's talking right now is the professor talking.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see your mouth moving. Oh, now I do. Now I do. Okay.
Yeah, I'm there. Bear with me. Just I think I have to share this tab, Matt.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
No. It's been a while since I've done a phoner in here, so it's just a matter of
The same place or in different places?
we're in a different physical location. We're not far from each other, but we're in different physical locations.
Yeah, same thing with Kadin and I.
All right. So I think I don't think I still have to share this because I really don't want that going out over.
Okay.
Okay, Matt, let's test and see if you can be heard.
All right. Can you hear me?
No.
No.
It's bear with me.
How can you be excellent in mediocrity?
I found a way, my friend. I found a way. Nobody's more mediocre than me. Trust me.
All right. So I just need to.
Now you're coming over the phone.
We need to ultimately set up a way that we can. I'd like to do this so that it doesn't share Steven's phone number with the world.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. Don't worry about that.
All right. Well, we'll share it as a little bit as we can. This is kind of the best I got, Matt.
All right. Can Steven hear me?
I can't hear Matt.
Okay. So here we go with a problem again.
Hear you. You hear Matt?
Everybody else hears me.
Yeah, and I don't understand why it's StreamYard is the only thing that doesn't do this. It doesn't pick up any of what
We gave Pete a whole lecture about how we weren't going to fucking sound check him.
But I see Maddie's mouth moving, but I don't hear anything.
All right. So I'm just going to change up a few things.
Can you hear everybody?
Okay.
I can hear everybody.
I can hear everybody. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Can anybody else hear Matt?
Yeah, I just heard him say yeah. Was that him that said yeah?
Yes.
Kadin, can you hear Matt?
Yeah, I can.
All right.
Okay.
You the man.
I think we're good.
Man.
All right. There's a little bit of a delay, but we'll work with that.
In the background?
What was that?
And hold on, I think I lost it.
That's awesome.
What the fuck is the internet?
Okay. Trying again. Go ahead, Matt.
Everybody hear me or what?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Everybody hear me?
Yeah.
It's not great.
I think it was better with the phone.
This is killing me. I thought I had this all worked out.
Is this any better? Did I put the phone closer to myself?
Yes, that works a lot better.
That was way better. Also, for good measure, Steven, can you press the mute button on your laptop just in case?
I don't think he can hear you. Why?
Okay, Mama.
Okay. Hi, baby.
Let me go in here and see if I can make an adjustment on the side. I'm trying to beat on it from over here. If I make a change on this side, I might be able to get us where we need to be. It's going to be... All right, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can...
Now I'm coming through twice.
You're getting... Yeah, I turned my echo cancellation off, trying to get this to work. Let's try you now, Matt.
How about now? Still coming through.
I can hear you.
Steven can't.
It's coming through on the video, though.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Steven can hear me, but I can't seem to get everybody else dumped into that. Yeah. All right, so this thing's not happy with the phone at all. And I thought I could...
My phone, you mean?
No, the phone system that I have worked in through this, for whatever reason, with everything else that we've used, it shares... StreamYard, for some reason, is able to strip it out. And I don't quite understand why. Because
So maybe we should just go back to the original where Steven is on the phone with Kadin, because I feel like that was much better than what's happening right now.
That's going to be where we have to be. Because I
can't move my computer.
I can't get this. I can't get the phone line to work right. It really upsets me.
Hi, it's me.
Yeah, can you hear him okay?
Yes.
I can hear you.
So just get the microphone of the phone real close to the microphone of whatever device you're using, Kadin, so we can hear him as best we can.
We back to that?
Yeah, it's super close.
All right.
And then Steven, just, speak like into the phone so we can hear you as clear as we can.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep, just talk a little bit closer to the phone, Steven.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Is
There
that
we
any
go.
better or is that louder?
Oh, much better. Much better, Steven.
I opened his mic, so we might get a little noise in the background.
Yeah, we're going. Okay. All right. You recording, Mike?
I am recording. I've got 12 minutes of this.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'm a little frazzled. All right, here we go.
Block here on the 189th episode of the Media Virus Podcast. Welcome.
Welcome.
We are starting.
I'm trying to figure out where that's coming from, but
we've got phones in play. We're getting Steven's audio, but when we open his mic, but he's not getting our audio. He's catching our. You know what? I'm going to do this the other way.
I can hear you now, though.
you can hear us through the phone?
Yeah, I hear all of you.
Very good.
All right, terrific. Okay, let's get going. All right, well, joining us today is author, and I don't want to say Republican operative, but I got political operative.
Yes.
Political hitman, and he has, he has some things he wants to tell us about. So, but real quick, Steven, what is a super PAC? Let's break it real down. What is a super PAC? What is the function?
Difference difference between a regular PAC, every special interest group and the PAC and the parties PACs, where people contribute money to a PAC, and the PAC can make commercials, can do whatever they want, spend money to help somebody get elected or defeat a candidate. A super PAC was created. The concept was created by George Soros on the Democratic side years ago. Now it's used by both parties, where there's no limit on what people can contribute to it. So anybody can put unlimited amounts of money in. And also, there are some super PACs that are not registered through the FEC, but through the IRS as 501c3. Those are charities. And on those, it's what's called dark money, like any other charity, anonymous, who's giving money. So that's what frustrates a lot of people, is that a lot of these ads you see are from those types of super PAC, and our super PAC is not like that. But some of them are, where now our super PAC, you can give unlimited money just like any super PAC, but some of them, the ones that go through the IRS 503s, those are charities, that's just also called dark money. You don't even know who's contributing money to it. And the Citizens United case, in 2010, the Supreme Court ruled that was constitutional, that it was the First Amendment rights of people with not a lot of money to give money to a super PAC so they can speak up for them. That's on all sides of all issues. So the biggest difference to the PAC is there's no limitations on what you can contribute.
So in theory, if I wanted to donate to a super PAC that has dark money, I could do that in such a way that I could donate to somebody on the other side that I thought would be a great spoiler for the election to sway it the way that I think it should get. In theory, am I correct there? If I thought,
I have to admit, I never thought of it as deviant, but yeah, people can do that. Of course they do.
Okay. I mean, that's
okay. So, question from somebody who has no idea what we're talking about. So, like, a super PAC is like a bank account, like people who take money for a election.
Yeah, but it's basically, but it's not the candidate. It's a separate. They're separate from the candidate.
So, like, you're a supporter of the candidate.
Well, you would be a, yeah.
They're called.
So you're a super fan.
Expenditures. They're totally separate from the campaigns of the candidate, but they do advocate. You can on the FEC advocate X and say bad things like Y, but on the ones that are through the IRS, you cannot advocate candidate X, but you can say candidate Y has sex with his dog. You say whatever you want negative. And that's the reason why so many of these ads are more negative than positive. It's a legal issue. You can't say vote for candidate X, but you can say candidate Y is a scumbag. So that's just the law, unfortunately. That's a thing. Supreme Court made that ruling, so don't blame it on the politicians.
So super PACs are super fans of politicians.
Yeah,
that
basically
make commercials and raise money.
The name they gave it.
That's a peculiar name.
A regular PAC, except that you can give an unlimited amount of a contribution.
Why are super PACs important? Why is it important to give these people money? I don't understand what politics is.
I'll tell you why.
Why are we giving candidates money?
It's important because according to the ruling in Citizens United case in 2010, what happened was the Congress passed a law called Feingold, which limited negative advertising in the last 2 months before a presidential election. And this was taken to the Supreme Court as a violation of free speech. And the Supreme Court ruled, they very rarely ruled 9-0 on anything. But they ruled 9-0 that was correct. It was a violation of McCain-Feingold. That's John McCain and Feingold, senators. That came up with this crazy idea, but it was thrown out by the Supreme Court, and which said you cannot limit what people say. That's a violation of freedom of speech. And what's good about a super PAC is if you only have $25, you can't afford to go into a studio, make a commercial, and buy the ad time, which is very expensive. You take your $25 contribution and give it to a super PAC that agrees with your belief, whether you're pro-choice, pro-life, pro-gun, anti-gun, pro-this candidate, anti-that candidate. There are super PACs on every single side of every issue and every candidate.
I just don't understand why it's so important to have advertisements for politicians.
Well, because they have to they want to get elected. I mean, that's they want to tell you why, but usually they don't tell you why you should vote for them. They tell you why you shouldn't vote for somebody else.
Well, that's probably a
You don't have advertising.
Right.
Then we're not in Cuba. I mean, you have to. 80% of all campaign dollars go into advertising. That's the only way to really reach the people, and so it's the only way to communicate to people, except for direct mail and maybe billboards. But most people get their ads from television, and that's where almost 80% of all money, not just by PACs but by campaigns, is all spent. Maddie just went off my screen, but
does anybody know what's the charge for shooting someone in the ass with a pellet gun?
It's probably a class 4 or 5 felony, or it might be a class 1 misdemeanor.
It'll affect the show, so please don't.
It'll affect next week's show.
Yeah, you might.
There are jerk offs in the alleyway next to me setting off fireworks. And it is scaring the shit out of my dog. Right? So my dog's running around like a lunatic and pulled over my whole camera rig. I'm
Gotcha.
I have an idea. We did this when we were about 10 years old. We didn't know what condoms were used for in those days, so you make water balloons out of them. And you just give it the old heave ho right out the window.
So,
by the way, they weren't called condoms in those days. Before the AIDS epidemic, they were called either prophylactics, rubbers, or scumbags. The word scumbag changed. It became known as a bad guy, but they were known. I don't know if you're old enough to know this, but prophylactics are called scumbags. They were legitimate words back in the 60s and 70s when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So and those things, no matter how small the condom is, they hold a lot of water. You'd be surprised how much you could fit in that.
A couple gallons.
You'll be shocked. I mean, probably 2 feet of water. And then just, put a little knot on the top and then give it the old heave ho right up the window.
So just to move along, but also because I'm wondering, your book was called like an assassin or something, or a hitman? What does that mean?
Confessions of a Political Hitman.
Okay. The book is called Confessions of a Political Hitman because what I used to do, and still do, is we do 2 things. One is called opposition research. My book was the first one in 2008 to make the term opposition research mainstream in the media. What it means is every campaign and every committee, like I was running for the NRCC, National Republican Congressional Committee in those days, any committee has a department that digs up dirt on the opponents. Now, back in the 60s, they used to call it rat fucking, but you can't say that when you answer the phone. Can I please have the rat fucking department? So they had to come
Hold on, are you from the 60s?
It sounds reasonable, so it became known as opposition research. Now it's just called research. So anyway,
hold on, Stephen. Just a quick question: Were you working in the 60s?
I'm sorry.
Were you working in the 60s, or this is just like an old story?
No, I started doing this in 1994. So.
Oh, I was like, how old are you?
It's about Confessions of a Political Hitman. It's how negative campaigning works, how you first have to dig up the dirt. It's called opposition research. And then how out of all the hits you find, the bad things on a candidate, you poll them. And you find out 3 or 4 things really offend the people the most. You'd be surprised what people don't care about. Like today, people don't care about Trump's lawsuits. And you'd be surprised what people do care about. And, something you don't expect, you have to take a poll. And then once you find the 3 or 4 best things that are most harmful to the opponent, those are the ones that you make TV ads out of. And I do that as well. So the book is called Confessions.
Is this job still legal today?
Because there was a book that came out right before that, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, was best. So they like to try. I didn't care for it too much. But anyway, it's about how negative campaigning works and why it often works better than positive campaigning, especially when you have two weak candidates with under 40% approval. I'm not going to mention any names. By the way, Mr. Trump and Biden say hello. But sometimes you have candidates with such poor approval ratings. The only way you can win is by being the lesser of two evils.
Yeah. And interesting.
So this is a job that people have today in 2024.
Yeah, he does.
Man, with all due respect, they've had it since the beginning of politics. Well, I don't know. I mean, as long as television's been on, they didn't call it research in those days. I don't know what they called it, but people have been digging up dirt on their opponents since Abraham Lincoln. At least I know he and Douglas dug up dirt during their debates. The technology is different now.
I mean this in the most respectful way, but this sounds crazy. Like there's a job where you just like stalk the shit out of people and find out their dirty secrets.
Yeah.
Like
when you
private
put it like
investigator, like Veronica Mars.
You know what the alternative is? The alternative is only say positive things about every candidate. We are no different than Cuba or Russia or China. Is that what you want? If you look to buy
I just feel like if somebody's like, one time this politician cheated on his wife. Well, I don't give a fuck.
No, but like John Kerry, right?
Just like people didn't care what Clinton did with those women, but they had the right to know.
Get your dick sucked, sir. That's not my problem.
You're right. You can say I don't give a fuck what they're doing with the women, but you have the right to know. And so how can anybody make an educated vote for any candidate
if I don't know who's sucking his dick?
Every candidate. Would it bother you if I went to Carfax to check out that car's background to make sure it hadn't been any accidents or anything bad? I have every right to go to Carfax, don't I? It's the same exact thing. You're learning the background of that candidate the same way you're going to learn the background of the car. And I'm going to finally put in a plug for any Trump supporters out there. Our super PAC this year is called sunshineonearth.com. You can go to sunshineonearth.com and see the two ads. One of them deals with how we had peace under President Trump and under President Biden because of its weakness, particularly starting with Afghanistan. We now have wars all over the place, and how there never would have been a war between Russia and the Ukraine because President Biden was friendly with both of those leaders, and there's no way Iran and Hamas would have had the balls to do that attack on Israel that Trump and President. Our second ad is about how all the anti-Semitism, anti-Israel, the stuff that's coming out of the colleges, and we haven't seen this kind of anti-Semitism since the 1950s in America, how it's all coming from the left, and how the Democratic Party is embracing these people. And why did it take President Biden 7 months to finally criticize them? Because he needs their votes. They are the new base of today's Democratic Party, unfortunately. They're no longer the party of Clinton or the party of Kennedy. They're the party of anti-Semitism, anti-Israel, on American soil, yelling death to America, death to Israel, death, the worst anti-Semitism ever in American history. My parents' generation went through anti-Semitism, but not my generation in the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. We never heard it. If you were Jewish if you went to your doctor or a lawyer and found that he was Jewish, you'd feel very good about that. Jews had a very positive. There was no anti-Semitism until now. All of a sudden, because these kids are being indoctrinated by these teachers, these professors in school. These professors are rejects from my generation, the anti-Vietnam War protesters. Those are the teachers now, the ones who were burning their draft cards, and some of the radicals were joining the Weathermen and the New Black Panthers and killing cops. Those are the people that are now teaching the kids to hate America, hate Israel.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our second commercial shows that all the anti-Semitism in America today, not to mention Al Sharpton, Louis Farrakhan, Jeremiah Wright, these people are the great
Stephen.
Party, and they hate Jews, they hate Israel. And up in the last election, Trump got into trouble because the Proud Boys and some right-wing white supremacist groups came out in his favor, and nobody mentioned what I'm mentioning, that a lot of the anti-Semitism in those days came from the left too. Today, almost all of it's coming from the left because of what's going on the college campuses. And again, one last thing, anybody agrees with me, just go to sunshineonearth.com. That's our super PAC. We're putting out ads to let people know that this is what the new Democratic Party of today not the party of Clinton or the party of Kennedy or the party of Carter, this Democratic Party. And not that Joe Biden is an anti-Semite. He's a good person and a decent person. I lived in Washington for 20 years. I knew the guy a little bit. He means well, but he believes he needs these people's votes. He's very worried about Michigan, which is a key swing state. All those Arab voters, he's very worried about them. But he's so stupid, he doesn't realize how many Jews are in Philadelphia, and Pennsylvania is just as important a swing state. But
well,
anyway,
Stephen, if I can just interrupt you real quick, is it we have your latest commercial? Would it be all right if we played that?
Roll it.
Yes.
Let's roll it.
Yeah, it's okay. All right. Just want to make sure to get permission before we do that.
Hi, this is Stephen Marks, and you're about to see President Trump's most powerful super PAC ad ever. Thank you.
That's the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it okay if we watch this one?
The world was a very peaceful place under President Trump, like sunshine on earth. There was no war between Russia and the Ukraine because President Trump had good relations with both Presidents Putin and Zelensky. And the Taliban would have never taken over Afghanistan if Trump had been president. Same for Iran and Hamas, who would have never dreamed of their terrorist attack if Trump had been president. Unlike Presidents Obama and Biden, who befriended Iran, the most dangerous terrorist nation in the world, and gave them back billions of dollars in sanction money that they could use to fund Hamas, President Trump reimposed those sanctions, which badly disabled Iran's funding of terrorism, and was strongly praised by Israel and peaceful Arab nations. So if we want world peace, we want Trump. If you'd like to make a contribution to air this Super PAC ad as often as possible, without a single dollar going to President Trump's legal issues, go to sunshineonearth.com. The following has been paid for by sunshineonearth.com.
So how do you get this, babe?
Oh, sorry.
How does the money go
all the way back in
to
2000?
Trump if it's not going to Trump? Are you gonna pause this?
I'm sorry. It was an accident.
I didn't hear what you said.
So, like, do you want your money? Right. If you want your money to go to Trump without going to his legal fees, donate to sunshineonearth.com. How does that work?
He just explained the Super PAC supports Trump.
By
running ads.
But so Sunshine on Earth is a company that makes commercials that are political.
That's his Super PAC.
Gotcha.
Yes, ma'am.
I love this for you. I love that you've had this career for a long time. I personally think that it is very bizarre for like the personal, like weird things, like commercials or things that people say. And but obviously like the real like politically things, like that's obviously
I also
but if somebody was running for president and after they were elected, it came out that he liked to stomp puppies. He just took puppies out in his backyard and stomped them. Wouldn't you want to know that before you voted for him?
We've had a politician like that, actually. That South Carolina girl or whoever that was.
What's she doing?
Stomping puppies?
Don't stop now, Kadin. Tell me.
You never like the Super PAC, they'll give any money to it, but people have the right to hear. Everything in there is factual. The networks actually fact check everything. Everything in every Super PAC is, by both sides, is factual. Now, yes, you can parse words, and they can be sometimes taken out of context, but there was nothing that was said.
Yeah, you can put like weird music in the background to make it seem more negative.
Us being dragged into all these wars under President Biden.
Obama one.
Now, you can disagree with that it's Biden's fault, but I'm just telling you, or that it's Trump, or Trump doesn't deserve any credit for having peace when he wasn't.
Right, but it's like a fact that they were friends with the Iranian guy.
Yeah,
that's the fact. And then the sad music in the background is the compelling commercial advertisement of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's something I never even knew about.
Well, you learned something new.
I did learn something new.
I think one of the
I just feel like
we're not addressing is the other part of Stephen's job is he has to know what's coming back at them. He has to have a good idea of what the other side can say so that you can be prepared for that as well. I mean, That is the other side of your work, yes?
Yes, all campaigns and PACs do research on their own candidates because you want to know where you're going to get hit. I'm going to give you a great example of a campaign that made a huge mistake. In 2000, if you remember, George W. Bush's campaign never made it public. It was very dishonest and deceiving. Bush never let people know that he had a DUI when he was 19 years old. He kept that secret. You remember? Mm-hmm. Thinking the Gore campaign would be so stupid that they wouldn't find this. But of course, if you're going to research George W. Bush, you're going to know when he was a young guy, he was in Kennebunkport, Maine, getting drunk all the time. You're going to look at the courthouse records there. So of course,
that's right.
People had that. 5 days before the election, they ran an ad showing that, or they brought it up. George Bush's 7-point lead went down to 0-point lead because the Bush campaign.
Who gives a shit what anyone did when they were 18?
At the Bush campaign was so stupid. If Bush came out in the earliest parts of the campaign and just acknowledged, hey, when I was 19, I had problems, it would have been a dead story. But he was so stupid, he did not let people know that. So it looked very dishonest when he didn't. And then it came out. And if the people knew how to fill out those butterfly ballots correctly in South Florida, Bush would have lost that election on that issue. And so the campaign needs to let the stuff on their own candidate. You need to get out in front of it and put your own spin on it, like what Joe Biden's doing now, which is a proper thing to do. But these guys are so arrogant over there at W's campaign that they didn't let W tell people, who cared what he did when he was 19 years old? But it made him look dishonest at the time, and he almost lost the election because of it.
I think that's because you were saying, like, who cares what people did,
right?
And like what he was saying, nobody would have cared about him getting a DUI at 19.
Well, apparently they did.
What they cared about is him not disclosing it.
Exactly.
When you hide things, that makes you dishonest.
Very much so.
Nobody cared that Bill Clinton was getting some action from Monica. What they did care about was that he lied about it. Nobody cared that these nitwits broke into the Watergate where they got nothing. The bug didn't even work. Nobody cared about that. It was a 2-day story. If Nixon
but also, it shouldn't have been news. Like in regards to,
but they didn't go to jail. I'm sorry. 2-day story. If Bill Clinton come out and said, I misspoke before the grand jury today. I really did have an inappropriate relation with Monica Lewinsky. 2-day news story. They both would have went on to finish out their terms and be excellent presidents. They're both going down with a cloud over their heads because they did something really stupid. It wasn't the action. In Clinton's case, it was the lying about it. In Nixon's case, it was the cover-up. It wasn't the actual action of what
in Bill Clinton's case, like, why is it even news?
Like he said, it's something that came up. It's something that came to the fore. You have to take it head on and make it go away. And again, shouldn't really be news. Never really bothered me. Whatever the president's got to do to get his job done, not that big of a deal. But if he's going to say, hey, I don't do that, and he does, then what else is he being dishonest about?
People are very
right. Or if some politicians.
If you show real contrition and real remorse, like John Kennedy did after the Bay of Pigs, and like Ronald Reagan did after Iran-Contra, they both came out and told the American people, I fucked up. I am so sorry. People love that honesty and love that integrity. Both men's approval ratings went up 10 points. But they did the opposite of what Clinton and Nixon did. They told the truth. Kennedy screwed up the Bay of Pigs, and Iran-Contra, Ronald Reagan made a mistake. They both corrected their mistakes. And the public loved both of them for being honest about it. Whereas Clinton and Nixon...
Where do the points come from?
Always comes back. Sometimes people don't find out. Sometimes they do. But you have to get out in front of your own candidate's problems. Let it out early. Put your own spin on it. So the other side doesn't come out with it the way Al Gore did against George W. Bush.
So
to answer your question about where points come from, have you ever gotten a phone call that said, hey, like, what do you think of the president? Do you think he's doing a good job? Yeah.
Like,
that's a poll.
That's where
okay. And your answers, that's where the points come from. They call
people who don't hang up.
Yes, the people that don't hang up. they, people that care enough about the country to take the time to answer a couple questions about how the president's doing, or about different policies,
Right.
That'll sometimes translate into points.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Steven, do you tell people that you work in like advertising or that you work in politics? Like, which one do you think you work in more?
I mean, if I'm just talking to you, I met you like
identify as politics or advertising?
Are you talking about professionally? I mean, which one do you mean?
Well, I mean, if I met you on the street and I said, "Hey, what do you do for work?" and you said, "Oh, I'm in politics," or "Oh, I'm in advertising," or "Oh, I'm in private investigating," or Facebook stalking people, like what would you say? You think
as generic as possible, so because they wouldn't understand what opposition research or super PAC are. So I would just say I'm a political consultant, which is what we all do.
Oh, political, right.
Yeah.
And then I'm curious about your last name. Where is your last name from?
Marx.
His dad.
Yeah.
My last name?
Yeah.
Oh, well, my great-grandparents, when they got off the boat, they had such a long name. And it was like Mariana, some
Where did they get off the boat from?
That nobody could spell. In those days, they just shortened the names. So Marx is a very common name, but it's not really anybody's real name. Like my name was Marian Polkara from either Lithuania or Poland. I'm not sure where they were from. And in those days, Marx was a very common name, and they just cut it down. And like Jones or like Smith or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's where it came from. I'm not related to Groucho or...
There's a Portuguese last name, Marx, that some people say Marquez or March.
Yep.
And so I was just wondering if you were Portuguese, but it sounds like you're Lithuanian or Polish.
And you're right, because when I was a kid, I had a second grade teacher that called me Mark Stevens for like 6 months. I didn't correct her because the whole class was laughing. But the name Stephen, every Stephen up until about 1970 was with a PH because it's from the Bible. But then because of the nickname Steve, they started calling the kid Stephen with a V. Mm-hmm. So any Stephen you meet since that was born after the conceptor, so it's Steven. And now, because of that, new people with PH are now Stephen, like Steph Curry. Yep. So the name has kind of changed. All Stevens were with a PH until about 70, and since then, they're most of them, if not all, with V's. So I don't know how it came about. I like the visual way the PH.
Yeah, I gotcha. I have an uncle who changed the spelling of his last name because people were calling him by his last name first. So I understand the frustration.
Yeah. I never had that problem.
Can't relate.
No.
Well, nobody knows how to say your last name.
I have that problem all the time.
What is that?
Yeah, what is that? McElwain?
Yeah, it's McGowan.
But if you pronounce Kadin's last name on the first try?
I would say McElwain.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. I pronounce it McGowan, but some of the podcasts I've been on by myself, they have a habit of misspelling it sometimes. I've had McLean, McElwain, McElwain.
I tell you what, I misspelled the shit out of it in the comments. I misspelled it in the comments because I spelled out Ronald. Because that's what your Facebook fucking is.
Yeah, Ronald's actually my granddad's name. That's my middle name.
That's my dad's name. That's my dad's name is Ronald. My brother's name is Ronald, and I got a nephew named Ronald. So we got Ron, and more Ron.
Funny, real funny.
Yeah.
And so, where do you fellas hail from? Where are you, Steven? Are you like in New York or New Jersey or something?
Yeah, do I have? Well, when I get a little excited, it comes out a little bit. Could you tell right away?
Immediately. Are you kidding?
Well,
and then, Kadin, where are you?
When I'm kind of calmed down, and I don't have that much of an accent, but I'm from Brooklyn originally. But I left New York when I was 33.
Did we lose Steven?
But I still keep. When I get a little excited, the act, just like any other person, like a Southern person that tries to hide it. When they get excited, it comes out. And ma'am, where are you from? Because you have a very neutral accent. I'm going to guess somewhere in middle America.
What a compliment, Mr. Marks. We appreciate you.
So show him where you're from, hon.
I'm from Boston. My name's Erica. I'm married to Maddie Rockdeff. No, I'm kidding. I am from Boston.
You're not from Boston.
I try really hard to hide my accent because I worked in sales for a long time and I didn't want people to know that I wasn't from here. But currently we live in Delaware, just outside of Philadelphia. But all three of us, we love to speak in radio voices.
Okay, but you haven't lived in Boston in a while, right?
I lived here in July. It'll be 10 years. We actually just came back from vacation in Boston. Yeah, no, I try real hard not to sound like I'm from Boston. Go Celtics!
Go Sox! I'm from New Jersey. I don't know.
I have a question about Boston. Why are all the cities there spelled in a way that when you pronounce it doesn't come out right? Like Worcester is Worcester.
I was screaming about this last week, Stephen. If people in New England had their way, the state would be pronounced Massachusetts, because you don't need the center like Worcester, Worcester, Worcester. It doesn't make any sense.
Worcester.
Why is Woburn?
Yeah.
Hang on, he's talking.
Why do they pronounce all the names crazy over there?
I mean, it just happens, I guess. What I can gather is maybe it was all of the British town names, but also the native town names, and we kind of just put our accent on it. And so places like Worcester, Gloucester, Methuen, Peabody, it's Haverhill, not Haverhill, Haverhill. It was the same when I moved down here to Pennsylvania. There's a town called Chad's Ford, Chad, the possessive, Chad's Ford, the Ford that belongs to Chad. I moved here and I was like, guys, I got a job. It's in Chad's Fid. That's not what it's.
Chad's Ford. It's the spot where Chad.
I got a job right on 202. It's in Chad's Fid.
Okay. Are all
right.
those things pretty much?
I'm sorry?
There's a lot of Irish definitely in Boston, but my people are Portuguese and Puerto Rican, but it's mostly Portuguese and Brazilian people in Massachusetts.
I mean the names of those cities that don't sound. Are they mostly Irish and Scottish and Wales names?
Oh,
cities.
I mean, yeah, they're all names that they also have in the UK.
Yeah,
and then some of them are native. But
yeah.
in New Jersey, there's a bunch of native towns.
Yeah,
like Winona and Wawa.
And Rapopo
and Rancocas.
That's right.
Okay. It's interesting.
So, yeah. Yep. So, now you've explained to us what a super PAC is. We've played your commercial that's for, a positive for Donald Trump. Are you acquisitioned by a certain person, or do you go with who you start super PAC, you decided that you like Trump, you want to go in this direction, or is it who the highest bidder, you're just a mercenary?
No, this is it. Well, some of them are mercenaries, but not me. I've been doing this since 2000. I had an ad against Gore where we tied him to Al Sharpton and black racists that helped defeat Al Gore. I had an ad against Kerry in 2004 where he was a private attorney before he was a senator for the mastermind of the Gardner Museum heist. And if you're from Boston, you know about that. The biggest unsolved robbery in history to this day. Kerry defended that guy and got him out of jail for trying to kill a cop, got him out after 3-year parole after 15-year sentence, and he went on and committed that Gardner Museum heist. And to this day, his name is George Reisfelder, has not been solved. And then we did super PAC ads against Barack Obama, mocking and ridiculing the Bible and Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount in 2008. And I had to have police protection from the new Black Panthers. But no, and me personally, I've done them myself. And that's the great thing about it. Anybody can really do these, as long as, and if you put it out there, and if you can raise money from regular folks, or you get lucky and have some rich donors once in a while, people get to see them. And that's now, of course, the super PACs from the presidential campaigns, I would say that 90% of their money comes from rich donors. Like President Trump, since he got convicted, raised, I think, $100 million or something at least from these big donors. And same thing with President Biden. He's raised a ton of money from like Hollywood people and famous people. So some of them are put together by people with a lot of money. Will find somebody to do it. And sometimes people like myself who just have a lot of experience. You know, I didn't start off doing this. I started off just doing opposition research for the Republican Party in 1994. And then in 2000, I was very frustrated that nobody in W's campaign was using this issue against Gore, that I made this ad myself because I thought the American public had a right to know. And I figured in 2004, I was very, again, frustrated with W's campaign for nobody making an issue that John Kerry defended this mobster who's behind the Gardner Museum heist. Nobody talked about it except for me. So we made a commercial. The same thing in 2008 when Barack Obama gave a speech to I don't know if you know these things existed, an atheist church, where he's making fun of Jesus in the Sermon on the Mount. He's mocking, ridiculing it. First, President Obama called me a crook and said the ad was fake. Then when the press thought it wasn't, he said it was out of context. But the problem was the McCain campaign wouldn't bring it up because you know why? They had dirt on both McCain and his wife were banging other people at the time. And he didn't have the stomach or the balls to take the heat like Bill Clinton took every hit imaginable that you could imagine. And draft dodging, womanizing, everything. This was the toughest politician of my lifetime. He took every hit and stood back up, and he won easily against George Bush in 1992. Men from McCain's generation were older, and Bob Dole too. They didn't have the stomach to go negative. They didn't have this because then Bob Dole would get hit with the fact that he was backing Liddy, his current wife, while he was still married to his first wife. They didn't have some of these guys don't have the stomach for that, but Bill Clinton had the stomach for it. He was tough. And
the other thing that Clinton had going for him is he's a hell of an orator. He can get up and speak, and I'm convinced the man could sell a woman in white gloves a ketchup popsicle because he's got a charisma about him when he's in front of people, and it's that I find that very interesting. It doesn't matter who it is. If you have that way about you, it's just an interesting thing to watch.
Well, Reagan had it, Kennedy had it, and Obama, to some degree, had it, and even doubled a little bit. He was a very likable guy on TV compared to Al Gore. You know how stiff he was?
Yeah.
And remember during the debates when he got nasty and started interrupting the moderator? He lost that election over those debates.
Mm-hmm.
And, so, yeah, you're right. It does help to have a nice personality, and John Kennedy had the greatest smile, but you bring up Clinton, it's true. Clinton, I would say, Clinton and Reagan would be the next charismatic after Kennedy, and then Obama right below in the same cat. Really very charismatic men. And by the way, in 2016, you might not remember that 8 years ago, Trump was fairly charismatic when he wasn't so angry, and he was much more likable than Hillary. You know how he won with 44% approval? Hillary had 38% approval. So
it's sometimes it just comes down to who you dislike less.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're right. Do you know that every presidential election since modern polling, every candidate from both parties before 2004 had over 50% approval? Starting with 2004, which was Bush and Kerry, they both had about 48. Then in 2008, McCain and Obama had about 46, 47, 48 each, started getting lower. And then Obama and Romney both had about 47. And then it really got bad. Hillary and Trump, they both had low 40s. And the last election got even worse. They were both around, Biden had about 44, Trump had about 40. And this election, right now, they're both in the high 30s. I mean, it's really, depending on poll you look at. So this would have been a really good year if they had the right third-party candidate, I believe, a moderate. But because a lot of folks don't like either one of them, but the cold, hard choice people have, and this is hopefully what President Trump will say in his closing statement in debate. If you take everything else away, forget about everything, but starting in next year, in January 20 next year, starting then, everything else doesn't matter anymore. Who is the better person to lead America through the domestic problems, which includes the immigration, the economy, and all the turmoil around the world? Who's the better person to? That's the only question. And I hope President Trump has his campaign has March to just make that his final statement. Just Reagan said, if you're old enough to remember, in 1980, better off or worse off than you were 4 years ago. And now people have kind of forgotten the thing with COVID during Trump, so they're comparing pre-COVID Trump to post-COVID Biden, and there's no choice. People are much better off during pre-COVID Trump than post-COVID Biden. And if Biden
was that a function of COVID? I mean, do you think Trump would have made different decisions through getting all the same information that Biden had? I mean, do you think it would have? Would we have fared differently through COVID?
I think Trump made a mistake when COVID first came out, instead of like W after 9/11, FDR after Pearl Harbor. They said something terrible has happened, and we're going to get through this, and lives are going to be lost. But those presidents brought the country together. Mm-hmm. Trump, not on purpose, but he ended up being a little polarizing and divisive in the way he handled COVID had he come out. And in the end, but here's the great break he has for this election. In the end, he got us Operation Warp Speed. He got us. The United States had a vaccine for a year before any other country. So Biden got to start fresh with a vaccine, and the country's just not doing that well. And I hope President, because a lot of Biden supporters, they're anti-vaxxers, so he hasn't brought that up right now. I'm hoping after the conventions are over, he brings that up to the swing voters, that he gave President Biden the vaccine, and the economy should be a lot better today than it is.
Big Daddy has joined us around that time. How you doing, man?
I'm okay.
Well, that's good. We're talking with Stephen Marks. He's a political consultant and runs a super PAC. I mean, obviously pro Trump. Now we've kind of broken down, for our listeners, what a super PAC is, so we understand, and what the purpose is and what the difference between that, a super PAC and a regular PAC. But do you have any questions, like right off the top of your head, Big Daddy, for Stephen Marks?
How do you think Trump can best answer the claims of his established history of racism and racist actions?
Racism?
Can you repeat the question, please? I'm sorry.
He's asking how Trump can establish and make claims against racism over his past history of racism, to be exact.
Okay, well, I'm not going to debate his past history of racism, which I disagree with, but I will say, in answer to your question, the president has to bring blacks and whites together, which President Biden had promised to do when he ran the last time after the 2020 riots, and he didn't. President Biden had 4 years to bring law enforcement and the leaders of the black leaders together to come to agreements on how do you handle these situations. If a guy's going for a weapon, you shoot him twice in the leg, you don't blow his head off. But you know what? The local police are so corrupt. They do whatever they want. And President Biden has had 4 years to put together some kind of federal laws where police have to do this under this circumstance, and he's done nothing. And hopefully President Trump would say something to the effect of, if I'm president, I would bring black leaders together, black leadership and black regular folks together with law enforcement leaders, and we can come up with ways to avoid these shootings. Now, I want to say one last thing. I've been personally abused by white police officers, and this is my opinion. If what's the black fellow's name that was killed? The terrible murder.
George Floyd.
George Floyd.
George Floyd was white. That cop would have killed him just the same as like. You saw there were people around, black and white, telling the cop to stop. But the guy was a fucking idiot. I don't know if race played into it. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But I don't believe if George Floyd was white that cop would have been any different. And I think President Biden or President Trump, whoever wins, hopefully will bring black and white leaders together and law enforcement together to show. And you have to federalize this. I hate to bring up the name J. Edgar Hoover, but there were no federal crime laws before J. Edgar Hoover. So Bonnie and Clyde robbed a bank, and the minute they went to the next state, the cops couldn't touch them. You have to federalize crimes. So all these cop shootings can be avoided if you have a federal crime that has standards. If the guy does this, you can do this. If he does this, you can do this. You have to have a webcam on you at all times. If you don't, you're getting thrown out of the department. There has to be federalized laws that protect black and white people from cops. That's my opinion.
And do you think that Trump is looking to do that?
Do I think that Trump is what? I'm sorry?
Do you think
Trump
wants to unite black and white leaders together to discuss that?
Very good question. It's an interesting question because Biden's in a lot of trouble right now, as you know from the polling. Blacks normally go about 80 to 90% Democrat in the presidential elections. And as you've seen the polls that are coming out right now, black males are almost 50% for Trump. And the black population is in the like 25, 28%, which is, and that just from the 10% he got last time, if he gets 28% this time, that could swing the votes in states like Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, of course. We have a large black population. But he's been a businessman for a long time in New York City, and he's been around a lot of black folks his whole life, and has had folks working for him. I don't think he's personally a racist. Maybe when he uses the immigration issue, he might use certain verbiage that makes it sound racist. What he feels in his heart, I really don't know. Okay, but he does need to be maybe used like right now. Also, you've probably seen these polls too. The vast majority of legal Latinos in America totally support Donald Trump on the immigration thing. If they want the illegals to keep the good ones here, but throw the bad ones out, and on the border, there has to be some kind of control, some kind of process. You can't just have anybody come. What Democrats want, because they know that if they get them to vote, they're going to vote Democrat. And you can't have it the Republican way where nobody's allowed in. Otherwise, I'd be in Lithuania somewhere today if my great-grandparents have to go through that kind of immigration process. You have to let people. We are the only country in the world. We have no lineage. We are a country, unless you are an American Indian, you are a fucking immigrant. And I wish all sides would see this. And all of us are immigrants, unless you're an American Indian. We all have to be given a fair shot at becoming Americans. But there's got to be a compromise between completely letting the borders open, which is what Joe Biden has done, because he cynically wants those people to register to vote because he knows they're going to vote Democrat. And on the other side, just as extreme, the Trump campaign saying things that come off as sounding racist. I don't know if they are, but if you want to come in through the southern border, you have to either come into a drug smuggler or a human trafficker. That's just the way it is right now. And President Biden, until just the last week or two when he filed that executive order, hasn't done anything about it. So the fact that 28% of black folks right now, according to polls, are going to vote for him, they don't think he's a racist because they have the same concerns white people do. Just the regular issues of 70% of Americans, and this is disgusting. Nobody brings it up but Bernie Sanders. 70% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. We are the richest country in the world. And the average American family's net worth is lower than the average family in Canada, England, Italy, Israel, Netherlands, Spain, Luxembourg. It's outrageous. And we have more money than the entire European Union put together. Now I'm sounding like Bernie Sanders. That's okay. We have more money than the entire European Union put together, and our people here is struggling. And black folks are struggling just like the white folks. And they've seen that Joe Biden, despite all his talk, hasn't really helped them since he's elected. So they that's why a lot of them, especially the males, are turning to Trump right now. But whether he's personally a racist, I don't know, because I don't know him personally, but he's taking the right positions right now, obviously, to get the blacks to come towards him, because his numbers, like I said, 4 years ago when he lost to Joe Biden, he got 10% of the black votes. In today's poll, he has 28%, mostly because the males are up to 40 to 50%.
Okay.
Black folks have the same concern as white folks. It's not a racial issue. It's an economic issue. And the reason a lot of Latinos don't like the illegals is because they're taking jobs away from them. And a lot of black folks don't like illegals because they're taking, low-paying jobs away from them too in the bigger cities. And that's why just my opinion, I think a lot of black and Latinos are going towards Trump. The illegal alien thing has to be put under control, where the good illegals get to come here, get to become Americans, just like our grandparents and great-grandparents did. You go through a 2 or 3 year process, you get a temporary green card or something, you keep your nose clean. This might shock you, but where more illegal aliens became legal? Pure amnesty. Ronald Reagan. Did you know that 7 million, the exact opposite, he'd be thrown out of today's Republican Party because they're so anti-immigrant. Ronald Reagan makes what they call dreamers today. 7 million illegals living in America. He made them. He not only gave them a pathway, he gave them pure amnesty, a word you can't even mention today in polite company. But it can be done. And hopefully, whether Biden gets reelected or Trump gets reelected, hopefully either one will do something about this problem and try to have a dialogue between blacks and whites, between Latinos and Anglos. President Obama, if you remember, was blaming whitey for every cop shooting. Most of the time, the white cop was dirty, but there were a couple of cases where the white cop was defending himself. There was one case in Jasper where the guy took a gun out of the cop's thing. He was on PCP and he was running. The cop chased him, and the guy turned around, and the cop had no choice but to shoot the guy and kill him. And the day Al Sharpton comes into town yelling, he said, "Hands up, don't shoot." It never happened. Jesse Jackson came in and did the right thing with the parents of the dead kid, called for calm that night. But Al Sharpton called for riots, and who did Barack Obama bring into the White House to make it door on racial issues? Al Sharpton. Instead of Jesse Jackson, great man like Jesse Jackson. You know what Jesse Jackson did for America? I don't know if you're old enough to remember, when he ran for president in 84 and in 88, black people thought they were disenfranchised. They didn't believe in our system. He taught them and he made them believe in our system. And today, because he ran for president, we have hundreds of black officials, from councilmen to state rep to Congress, senators to a president, all because of Jesse Jackson. But President Obama not listen to Jesse Jackson, listen to Al Sharpton, a guy who said, don't even get me going on him. Guy who had his followers burn down a Jewish-owned store in Harlem, killing 8 people. A guy who said, if the Jews want to get it on, tell them to come to my house and pin back their yarmulkes. And it's mind-boggling. And there's so many things with Sharpton. Yet President Biden actually sucked up to him just a month or two ago. He was at his Action Network calling him Rev. And Kamala Harris said, "I love you, Rev." I'm not making this up. They embrace these black, really bad people like Al Sharpton, because he does represent in New York. He represents a lot of black folks. But if you don't live in New York, you see him on TV, you just think he's a regular black civil rights guy, seems reasonable, but he's not. And neither was Louis Farrakhan, and neither was Jeremiah Wright. But the Democrats, they embrace those people, and it's not right. They should be embracing good black leaders like Jesse Jackson.
I want to take a minute here.
Yeah, we do like the good ones around here.
I want to take a minute and get Steven's ad run, because we did.
Holy shit!
We did say we were going to do that, so I want.
How'd you get the name Big Daddy? I need to know that.
We'll get to Big Daddy's name right after.
What happened?
Right after we take a look at your newest ad that we have a link for tonight. And
There's no sound.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you accidentally muted it. There we go.
Here we go.
Paid for by sunshineonearth.com.
Who are all these Americans that hate Israel, hate Jews, and by extension hate America? They are the new base of today's Democratic Party. Hi, I'm Stephen Marks, and this is the first Super PAC ad you're ever going to see with no slick production, just me speaking. All across America, on campuses and elsewhere, we're hearing Americans on American soil chanting, "Death to America, death to Israel, pro-Hamas." And the worst anti-Semitism ever heard in American history. Why did it take President Biden 7 months to finally criticize these people? Because he needs their votes. They are the new base of today's Democratic Party. Biden has surrendered to this base by becoming the first president in American history to threaten Israel with cutting off all military aid to fight terrorism, as he demands that Israel stop attacking Hamas, but making no demands on Hamas to release all those hostages, including American hostages. Kamala Harris, Chuck Schumer, and Nancy Pelosi have echoed this Israel bashing, demanding that the president of Israel resign while making no demands upon Hamas's leadership to resign and be replaced by peaceful Palestinians. But it gets worse. President Biden was the keynote speaker honoring America's most well-known anti-Semite, the Reverend Al Sharpton, who incited the burning down of a Jewish-owned store in Harlem, killing 8 innocent people, and said, if the Jews want to get it on.
I apologize. I'm having some issues with the internet connection here. It's a little slow, so I'm going to drop out of that. I will make sure that there's links posted in our show notes.
Hang on, let me see something real quick.
Making no demands upon Hamas's leadership to resign and be replaced by peaceful Palestinians. But it gets worse. President Biden was the keynote speaker honoring America's most well-known anti-Semite, the Reverend Al Sharpton, who incited the burning down of a Jewish-owned store in Harlem, killing 8 innocent people, and said, if the Jews want to get it on, tell them to pin back their yarmulkes and come to my house. And what did Kamala Harris have to say to Mr. Sharpton? I love you, Rev. I'm not making this up, folks. All this anti-Semitism today in America is coming from the left, from the leadership of today's Democratic Party, and from this despicable base of today's new Democratic Party. If you'd like to contribute to help us air this ad as often as possible, go to sunshineonearth.com. Thank you.
All right.
Showing that.
Well, yeah, that's why you came on to motherfucker.
And
in adults is.
And I think it's important that we do show them, because it shows that you're not necessarily coming from a place of the Trump campaign. You're coming from your belief system that is not necessarily informed solely by the Trump campaign. And I think that's just an important distinction.
Yes. I never mentioned in that second ad, We never mentioned Donald Trump.
Well, Stephen, I want to thank you for your time. Kadin, I want to thank you for your time. I hope you guys had a good time here on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Again, thanks for coming on. We had fun, and you can check this out live once we're the video will be there once we're finished, and the podcast gets posted on
Friday.
This segment will get posted on Saturday. Yeah, this segment gets posted on Saturday. It's going to be a long one, but thanks for coming on. But we're going to let you go. Yeah, absolutely. And we'll have you back sometime.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one. Be safe.
You as well.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the B block of the Media Virus Podcast, episode 189. We'll be back with C block and Just the Tips and Big Daddy right after this. I know I look like a cartoon villain. I probably scared him. All right. Tech was painful, brother.
Dude, it wasn't just the connection. It was like everybody else's connect. Like you were spinning, I was spinning, like doing that, the thing where you're offline and shit. It was across the fucking board.
Yeah. Somebody must be downloading porn on the whole internet tonight.
I don't know, but the whole, just from start to finish, this has been such a brutal fucking episode.
And Dre, I absolutely love it how you hit feet on the ground and come to speed right away.
Yeah, I caught the flavor of that pretty quickly and decided to go right for it.
And I will say, and I'm not one to defend anybody in particular. In talking to him, he really is a decent guy who has decent intent. Whether you agree with his political bent or not, that's to be seen. But he's a Jewish guy who's been kicked around, and he's still a Republican. And he actually, in our earlier conversations, I had mentioned that Bill Clinton could have sold a woman in white gloves a ketchup popsicle as soon as all he had to do was stand up at a podium and talk. And he's got such a charisma when he speaks that people just go, oh, okay, sounds good, Bill, thanks. And he said, yeah, absolutely. And he actually compared him to Reagan and Kennedy. And he said, I'm not here to get down on the political party that was behind Kennedy or the one that was behind even Carter.
Yeah, his whole approach seemed to be not quite what I was expecting. Like when you hear Trumpster, like you hear you just kind of get prepared for all this. Trump is the greatest thing ever, and
right.
And that really wasn't his stance.
Nope.
No, he's a legitimate. What he used to say, he was an author of a book called Confessions of a Political Hitman. So basically, what his job was digging up dirt on the opposition. You know what I mean? But he would also dig, he would dig up dirt on his guy too, just to see what was coming down the pike.
I mean, he would have to, yeah, in order to be able
so. I just thought that was a fascinating, and they were like the first people that reached out to us out off a Facebook posting.
And who was home skill with the list for the other one?
Oh, his name was Kadin, and he was the one that contacted me. I think he's basically he's Steven's press guy.
Oh, okay.
Because that's not the first conversation that I've had with Steven.
Or at least
where
social media press guy.
Yeah, where he like the last conversation I had with that guy was phone to phone too. Like I was on the phone with Kadin, and Kadin was on the phone with him. Like this.
Okay, so
So,
he's like the point intercept guy.
We had to figure and his computer wasn't working properly, so we have there's about a half an hour of tech.
If he needs tech consultants, dude, reach out. We can do tech for him.
I don't know. Apparently, we can't unless he gives us
in.
Yeah, that was a very interesting. It is not the direction I thought that was going to take, and I'm glad it didn't. Go down.
No, I mean he's he seemed like a decent enough guy. Like if he was just like gonna pound his chest and yell about Trump, I wouldn't have booked him.
Yeah, I was expecting him to. That's what I was expecting.
All right. Well,
so I was prepared to shut up. So I was pleasantly surprised that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, he was good. He was a good interview. What we heard of it, there was a lot of stuff that I hope you had a better connection than I did. You know what I mean?
I got a good bit of it. It was tough to go back and forth because the speakerphone it shuts one end down.
Yeah.
So like when he got on a roll, he couldn't hear us.
Right. Yeah.
But he was and passionate about the fact that this is the political life that's out there. So this is the way that the world has to go. It's not necessarily what he wants. It's just what he has to be.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting stance as well. I didn't expect that from him. I actually expected him to be more like, hey, fuck you, I'm a hired gun. As long as you got money, I'll come and fuck anybody. But that wasn't. He comes from a place that he's got his political bent and his stance, and that's what he hammers on more so than anything else, which I can respect a lot more than some case.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun. We had a good time. All right, we all broken up and taken care of everything,
recording and ready to roll.
All right, so we skipped Big Daddy Asks.
Yes,
that was probably wise.
So we can start C Block with Big Daddy Asks, or we can finish C Block with Big Daddy Asks. Either way,
or hold until next week. Doesn't matter.
Big Daddy asks.
Aside from Big Daddy, what's black and eats ass? Prostate cancer.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
I'd say that was wise. That was wise to skip that.
We just had a respectable, intelligent conversation with a man who's been in politics since 1994.
And coming out of the gate is eating ass.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I was fully ready to start the B Block with Big Daddy Asks whether he was here or not.
And I didn't know which one was going to be today's either.
It was Matt. It was Matt who decided that we should hold it.
Yes, I feel like that was the right choice.
Originally, I was going to move it up to the end of A Block, but we kind of ran out of time when he showed up. So, also, wait a minute. Let me see something real quick. No, for some reason, I can't fucking pause the stream.
Huh.
I don't. And it doesn't even give it.
It may be a pay function.
It might be a pay function. It makes more sense. We got excited yesterday when we found hotkeys, just specialized keys that you can change different things on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a pause stream function.
Nice.
And we were like, oh shit, we don't have to take our breaks like while we're broadcasting. But it doesn't work for us because it doesn't. All right.
Pro feature.
Yeah. Anyway, do you want to get into just the tips right now, or do you want to save that till the end?
Let's save it to the end. We'll play out with it.
All right. That's good. That's a good
good
idea.
Good end to the
show.
But I do have the 3 stories that Big Daddy sent in that I have lined up for us.
All right. Well,
we start off with McDonald's is pulling AI out of their ordering system. McDonald's is pulling.
Is this the drive-through or is this the app? Like what used AI?
The drive-through.
Okay.
The drive-through system.
So
McDonald's is pulling the plug on artificial intelligence ordering technology it was testing at more than 100 drive-through restaurant systems in the U.S., a possible hiccup in the rapid rollout of AI in the fast food industry. The company had worked with IBM to develop a test AI-driven voice-automated ordering at some of its restaurants. The fast food giant says it's still working on AI-related solutions at a time when its rivals are making similar investments. It plans to shut off the technology in restaurants participating in the test no later than July 26, 2024, according to a report. IBM remains a trusted partner and will still utilize many of their products across our global system, McDonald's said in an email sent to franchisees and shared on CNN. But the company suggested it will look at AI partners other than IBM as well. McDonald's and IBM launched their partnership in 2021, announcing the development of automated order taking technology to create a more convenient and simplified ordering experience for its customers and restaurant teams as a part of its Accelerating the Arches growth plan. IBM said the AOT technology that emerged from the partnership has some of the most comprehensive capabilities in the industry. It's fast and accurate in demanding conditions. While McDonald's is reevaluating refining its plans, we look forward to continuing to work with a variety of other projects. So basically, what happened was they had some hiccups along the way. One of the articles I read said that AI would make some decisions about these orders that weren't necessarily what the customer had asked for, like putting bacon on ice cream, which honestly doesn't sound that awful to me. I could be okay with bacon ice cream, but they also said that there was some issues where people would order like, hey, give me some McNuggets, and it would put up thousands of dollars of McNuggets into the system, up into the queue for them. So like,
it's not good with accents and some of the more human understanding. Like if it only tends to understand grammatically correct speech. And let's be honest.
So Caucasians.
Yeah, pretty much. Becky's the only one that can get her order right. If you have any sort of black scent, it fucks up pretty easily.
Or I'm sure every hillbilly had issues with it. Yeah, I'll have one of them Big Macs and give me a Royal Crown or Dr. Pepper. I don't know which one you got, but maybe Pepsi. It would have been terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it only understands pure, concise, correct speech, and that's a problem. And that's a problem.
They need and with IBM, I totally understand that. That's a very IBM way of attacking a problem, I believe. Whereas if they were dealing with maybe Amazon. Amazon's got quite a bit going on with the Echo devices. And I actually know that from the home here. I've got a number of the devices here in the house, and with my wife's condition, her speech it consistently gets a little worse, and it while she does argue with Alexa from time to time, it generally does pick up a lot more than you would think. Well, so I think they're probably at the forefront of that technology right now.
I tell you, I absolutely fucking hate Amazon products. As far as I'm concerned, Amazon can just go fucking suck a dick and eat shit. Because I have one item of Amazon in my home. It's a fucking Fire TV, and it's the biggest piece of shit I have ever owned in my entire life. And I've owned big pieces of shit. I used to drive a 1990 Grand Marquis. I know what a big piece of shit is.
Now that's a big piece of shit.
Right? I'm aware.
Shit.
Big. It's a 32-inch TV. It's a piece of shit. But I don't understand. Like, why do we need AI to take someone's order?
I think the idea was how can we get rid of humans and not have to pay that money?
Yes. Because if you walked into a McDonald's recently, they have one register on the counter now. And then they have 4 kiosks throughout the area where you just walk up and order your shit. Where you don't have
a lot of people order from the app.
Yeah,
like
so
my wife has the McDonald's app.
I'm one of those where I will order strictly from the kiosk, so it cuts down my interaction with humans. But at the same time, you still have to have you cannot eliminate the human component. You just can't.
No,
not yet.
And that's what they were trying to do. And I don't think you're ever going to be able to eliminate humans because there's too many flaws in machines. I don't think we're going to get to a place with a flawless machine.
Well,
no, you're probably right on that. It's a while out yet. Speaking of machines that need humans' help, 28 humans got turned upside down in Oregon recently. In fact, it was last week on Friday, the 14th. 28 passengers were riding Portland's Oaks Amusement Park's Atmosphere around 2:55 when the ride stopped in place, suspending them all upside down at its apex position, the park said in a statement. And it really is. They are straight up and down. They are literally upside down, which is kind of a suck place to be. And if you want to run a little bit of that video, Matt, it's kind of interesting because there's a couple of there's some of that video they actually show from time to time, after like a guy says they've been there for a couple of minutes already, and then it comes back and it's like, oh, it's like 7 minutes later now, and then like within 10 minutes they closed the park and told everybody to leave.
Oh, wow.
And you can hear it in the video.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the actual video. The video I was playing was like fucking some country music ad.
Huh.
Oh, it's fucking bullshit.
Yeah, it may not have been the video here on this page, but I did see video of it earlier, and it was crazy.
Here we go.
Like,
nothing works. Nothing works the way it's supposed to.
They're still there in the air 30 minutes after the incident.
For a half an hour? I'm sure they're trying to figure out what to do.
And the Oaks Park in Portland, Oregon. They say help is on the way.
They're still there in that air 30 minutes after the incident. Oaks Park. They're just sitting there.
That's what I want to see. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it may have been a TikTok that I ran across. I know I saw a video of this specific incident, and like they kept going, well, it's been this long, it's been that long, and then in the background you then hear the PA system come on. Somebody was saying, everybody, please stop what you're doing and leave. The park is closing. Get out. And the guys
I love how they were criticizing the fire department for just like they show up and know exactly what to fucking do.
I mean, exactly. They're emergency responders. They have to respond to the emergency. They have to get there and figure out what's going on and the safe way to fix it. That's not something that they do every day. Yeah, that's in their district. Yes, they have to be aware of it, but that ride does not end up in the wrong position every day for them to have that as exactly what to do.
Yeah, especially if they're upside down. Like if the fire department, who doesn't know anything about operating a roller coaster, decide to flip the wrong switch. I mean, it's upside down. If you have 28 seat belts unlock at the same time, it's all of a sudden it's raining men, and not in a good way.
It's raining man. Hallelujah.
Oh, but I mean, I've spent some time with the fire department, and that is a real concern. When you get there, you have to assess the situation and then figure out the safest way to fix it.
Yeah,
it's one of the first things in training that they tell you. Hey, we know you want to be the hero, but the first thing you do is figure out what is going on and who is the smartest guy in the room that can help you.
So. Yeah, but dude, I think I got stuck on a fucking Ferris wheel for like, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I freaked the fuck out, and I was right side up.
Yeah, I mean, some people get a little claustrophobic in that little chair because that's the only place you have a place to go.
Like you're in a cage and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, you hope that somebody else knows how to fix it, but
30 minutes upside down. That's a lot of pressure. And if you have to pee, you just peeing on your face.
Right?
Oh man.
Don't shit yourself. Don't.
Exactly.
At least
can you imagine just be up there like, well, I mean, would you have would you have to? Or would it?
I think being upside down, I think gravity could help you some at that point.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But yeah. And Miss Erica Santiago chimed in the comments. We love first responders.
Yes, we
and
do.
We do. We've been watching 911 and 911 Lone Star. So,
and I believe we discussed that's Rob Lowe's new gig is Lone Star, right?
Yeah, and I like Rob Lowe. I'll watch anything Rob Lowe's in. I don't care.
He actually did a series about kind of paranormal stuff with his two sons a few years ago.
I vaguely remember that.
And it was really good. He was really good with his two sons. Like they got along.
Well, I know one of his sons is a writer on 911.
Yes. Yeah, one of his sons works in the industry.
Yeah, and he did a show with one of I don't know if it's the same son, but he did a show with one of his sons. like an estranged father-son relationship reuniting type of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, Erica watches it. It was good. But I'll watch anything with Rob Lowe in it. I don't care. Parks and Rec all day long, dude.
Hey, he's one of those guys from our time growing up, our childhood, sort of, and he's one of those guys that we're endeared to him because we watched him screw up a little and then come back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's those things that give us a connection. We understand.
And that's what makes me love Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Robert Downey Jr. Same.
Yeah. What the English guy got caught with the hooker?
Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant. Yeah.
He's
Teeth.
another one. Yeah. Those guys screw up a little bit and come back and make it back because they're like, yeah, you know what, I fucked up. I'd like.
That's right. He went on Leno immediately afterwards.
Yep.
Just I screwed up.
And that's important. Now, these cucumber people, they're saying they fucked up. They're asking for their cucumbers back, apparently.
Now this one is important for the ladies.
It is. Cucumbers are a big deal for chicks.
Well, my wife loves to eat cucumbers.
Oh.
I think that's what you're talking about. She actually cut up a cucumber for today's dinner, and she asked me if I wanted one. This is after I told her 2 days ago that there was a cucumber. She does not care. She will eat whatever cucumber she chooses. And but she offered. She's like, "You want a cucumber?" I'm like, "No, I don't. Thanks. I don't want salmonella." You know what I mean?
But ladies, before you decide which hole to
put your cucumber into,
you should be aware of the story.
Well, yeah, because I don't think it matters which hole salmonella goes in; it's still a problem.
Still a problem.
A range of recalled whole cucumbers have been designated as a Class 1 risk by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Whole cucumbers produced by Fresh Start Produce Sales were recalled on May 23rd due to the presence of salmonella in the product. A recall has now been updated as a Class 1 risk level, the highest, which is issued when there is a reasonable probability that the use or exposure to a product could cause serious adverse health consequences or death. Affected cucumbers were distributed between May 17th and May 21st of this year. They have an expiration date of May 27th and bear the lot number BG0813804. The contamination with salmonella, one of the leading causes of food poisoning in the United States, was discovered by Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture after a product sample tested positive for the bacteria. The recalled cucumbers are dark green in color and approximately 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter and 5 to 9 inches long. That's why you may have trouble identifying them from other cucumbers that they may be near, because many cucumbers are 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter and 5 to 9 inches long and appear dark green in color.
Yeah, that's common
So
for cucumbers to be dark green in color, I've heard.
Now,
I've heard. I don't have
mini cucumbers and English cucumbers are not included in this recall. So if you want an English cucumber or a little cucumber, you're probably okay. I tend to
going for those big American cucumbers. You may want to hold off on that.
I tend to get the smaller cucumbers because they don't have such large seeds and don't make you burp quite the same way. The products in this recall were, let's see, only 4 states are affected by the Class 1 risk classification: Florida, New Jersey, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. However, according to the FDA's original release, the products were also shipped to Alabama, Georgia, Illinois, Maryland, New York, Ohio, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. So
now, see, my wife loves me so much that she buys the minis.
That's good. That's the comparative.
Now that's a dick joke. Right there.
Thanks for clearing that up.
Not for nothing. Just so we know, we got to classify cucumbers with chickens. Don't fuck them. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
Because of salmonella.
Because salmonella. You don't want salmonella to be a sexually transmitted disease. You don't want to earn food poisoning. You know what I mean?
Right. You want it to be a complete and total accident.
Yes.
Yeah, it's time to be racist with your cucumbers, ladies. Stick with the Persian ones. Persians and English ones. Those are the good ones. The dark ones, you got to stay away from the darkies. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. Stay away from the darkies.
Stay away.
Celebrating the day that we had to send the army to Texas because Texas refused to tell the slaves that they weren't slaves anymore.
Hey, by the way, y'all been free for like 5 years. They say to the guy with the whip marks on his back.
2
years.
God damn it. What was I? Oh yeah. I was if our guest would have had a good connection.
Yeah.
I was gonna Big Daddy's here. He's proof that we know a black guy and he shows up whenever he wants. And I wanted to see how the guy would react to that. But that would have been, we'd have had to beat that into the ground. It would have been terrible.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked with the connection that we had.
No, not at all. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles, though. But we've gone through all the stories we've got lined up. So we're going to go into this week's
Just the Tips.
Just the Tips. And where am I? Here we are.
Just the Tips. With Stanley McFadden.
Good evening, Media Virus Podcast. It is I, the one and only Big Dick Daddy, proud professor of Big Dickology, bringing to you another episode of Just the Tips. Tonight's episode 96, I think. Vivica. Once upon a time, we all wanted to flip that ass over and break the shit off in it. Just get lost in it. And when all that attention was happening, you weren't interested. You just snubbed your fucking nose at all of us. Like none of us were good enough for you. And now that you done gained 82 pounds and it shows, now all of a sudden at 60 years old, you want love and you've got standards now. I got a problem with that. Now, my problem, let's just to be clear, is not the fact that she's gained a whole bunch of weight. I like me a thick woman. What I have the problem with is that there were plenty of men who were expressing interest in her when she was younger. And she didn't want it. And she told us no. And she, no, not good enough. No, he's not good enough. No, he's not good enough. When you were in your prime, no one was good enough for you. And now that no one was good enough for you, now all of a sudden You done flipped the switch. Now that you're out of your prime, you want someone to make you happy. Here's the thing, ladies. When you reject us time and time and time again, and you friend zone us, and you don't return phone calls, and you tell us that you're too good for us, and you show us that you got a stick so far up your ass that your tongue gets splinters, then we leave you alone. And then all of a sudden, we're the dick in the glass jar, and you break the glass, and you expect us to come running in your emergency. No. What you get is left alone, because that's what you said you wanted. You spent so much time and effort telling us to leave you the fuck alone because you a single woman doing my thing. And we left you alone because that's what you said you wanted. And now you went from 20 and hot, 30 and delicious, 40 and now 20 years and 82 pounds later, now all of a sudden you're ready. And still got the nerve to have standards. How about, ladies, if what you are doing doesn't match what you're putting out there, you need to change one of them, either the standards that you're putting or your behavior, because that shit don't match. I mean, best of luck, but damn. Ladies, check your fucking attitude, or you're going to end up waiting another 20 years and another 82 pounds. And let me tell you something. I do like a big girl. Big Daddy has limits. If you can't sit on my face without breaking a bone, that's about a limit. I mean, there's a weight limit even to this ride, ladies. How about keeping yourself up to where you were at the time that we met? I mean, you should. The things that you were doing when you met us that made us attracted to you in the first place are the things that you should be continuing to do as you get into the relationship. That means during the courtship period, when you're giving them random blowjobs, you should keep doing them because that was what you were advertising that got us there in the first place. But when you put yourself out there as hot and sexy and delicious, and then we get involved with you, and all of a sudden shit change and you stop caring about your appearance, it shows us a lack of respect for us. And men, it's our job to do the same. We should be bringing to the table qualities and characteristics that we're willing to keep bringing to the table. Otherwise, your table's going to be real fucking empty. Good luck. Media Virus Podcast. I'm out.
Now, you were talking about Vivica A. Fox, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had to go and I had to go and do a little bit of research because for some reason it triggered a memory in me of American Horror Story when Angela Bassett was on.
Okay.
Because Angela Bassett,
fucking fine.
But who's Angela Bassett is not Angelica Houston.
No,
and neither of them are related to Whitney Houston.
That's right.
I learned that.
Well, Angelica Houston is white and sexy AF as Morticia.
But Angela Bassett, she's 65 today. and she is this kind of 65-year-old woman that you want to date.
I'm yeah.
She's on that show 911 that I talk about all the time. Yeah.
When I realized what her age is, it blew my mind because she doesn't present as a 65-year-old woman.
No, but for some reason, I thought the woman that I was watching perform, I thought her name was Angelica Houston. And then I turned to my wife and I pointed to her and I said, "Do you think Angelica Houston is related to Whitney Houston?" And she goes, "No, Angelica Houston is white." And I said, "She's not white." She said, "That's Angela Bassett." And I said, "Oh."
Wow.
But that's, in case you're wondering how I found out that Angela Bassett is not Angelica Houston and either of them are related to Whitney Houston. That's how I did it.
Wow.
Angelica Houston is John Houston's daughter.
Oh, okay. You think John Houston's related to Whitney?
Pretty sure he's not.
Angelica Houston was my hall pass for a number of years.
I don't blame you. Shit.
I get that.
Yeah.
Probably the only skinny bitch on that entire list.
Yeah, and not particularly skinny. She's a large. She's tall and large boned. She's not
Amazonish.
Yeah, she's not skinny by any means.
I will climb that mountain. I've climbed a few mountains in my days. That's one. I'll make that trek.
Yeah, there's something about a tall chick, man.
My first girlfriend was 5'11".
Yeah, tall doesn't bother me.
Matt's mom was 5'11 and a half.
And thick.
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, there was a girl in a couple of my classes that was on the women's basketball team, and she was every bit of 6 feet tall. And wow, it blew my mind. And I'm 5.5 feet tall. I'm not.
There's something.
Did you catch a whiff every time you walk by?
I told her the same thing that my wife always said about short men. When you're nose to nose, your toes are in it, and when you're toes to toes, your nose is in it.
Right. So real quick, I don't understand a lot of this internet shorthand.
Okay.
And so when C Block started, I hit Pete up. I said, "Pop back in."
Right.
And he goes, "A little busy, ATM, sorry."
Ass to mouth.
That's what I said. I said ass to mouth. And then he goes, "Middle of a ride." And I'm like, "You went ass to mouth in the middle of a ride?"
Sometimes you got to go ass to mouth in the middle of a ride.
You never go ass to mouth.
You trying to get those. You trying to get those tips.
He's got to make money somehow.
Trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get that 5-star rate.
I mean, maybe giving hand jobs under the bridge for $15 a man wasn't paying the bills.
Well, that, and he could have meant at the moment. But
see, that's where I was confused.
I mean, he could have, but chances are he was going.
Chances are he's going ass to mouth right now under a bridge.
Very likely.
I don't think he's watching.
No, he'd have been on by now.
See, when he advertised Uber hand jobs, and I think that meant the ride share, not the quality.
Not another dissatisfied customer.
Now, what does JA stand for?
That's when you don't want to stick it in her vagina because she has salmonella in it, so it's just ass.
Well, no, because he says bite me J.A.
Just in the ass.
Just in
He's
the
asking for you. He wants you to bite him, but just in the ass. Like don't bother. With anything else. It's just in the ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, a new C Block segment. Fun with Pete.
He's more
Internet
full
speak
as
with Big Daddy. Internet speak with Big Daddy.
This keeps what the fuck? Why am I stupid?
Well,
learn the internet with Big Daddy.
You want me to bite just your ass? There we go. All right. I think he might mean jackass.
Maybe.
Probably. Knowing Pete. You know what I mean? So he's starting to get kind of salty on me. He was taking my shit real good for a while, but he's getting sick of it.
It's coming back. What's going on in Big Daddy Land these days?
Nothing. Everything is on hiatus, so everything is just practice right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm definitely enjoying a little bit of non-pressure. Everything will resume again in the fall. So today we are focusing on Juneteenth and the proper way to celebrate it. I thought I had a Juneteenth video package from last year, but I don't know if I didn't make it or didn't save it.
Was it the TikTok that you posted where it was just played "I'm Black Y'all" in the background?
Yes, I think that was it.
That was the one that we had to take the. Didn't we have to take the audio out of that?
Or they silenced it and we had you had a problem with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it got flagged.
It was somewhere.
Yeah, we caught a copyright violation on it.
Okay, but it was TikTok. That's where it went?
Yes.
Okay. I was pretty sure I had one somewhere. I guess I didn't save it. All right, so I may have to make another one.
Well, in true form, it was going to be late. I don't know. I mean, it's 11/17 on Juneteenth. I don't know.
CPT, baby.
Well, just like Juneteenth, it's coming late. Just like Juneteenth itself, it's coming late.
So in 2 years, we'll have
you're gonna have
your 2024 Juneteenth package. All right.
Oh, Matt and I had a true Gen X experience the other day. We actually hung out in person.
Oh shit!
Yeah, we were
impromptu hang.
I've got a heart monitor.
Why do you have a heart monitor?
So they can monitor my heart.
It's funny how that works.
You
have to
question,
really.
Especially for me, you have to earn a heart monitor. So
no, it's a 3-day study. It's like a 3-day. They want to. I went to the cardiologist. Remember when I had that vagal event?
Yes.
And they told me to go see a cardiologist.
Yes.
Well, I didn't for like a long time.
Okay.
And I started going like a month ago. So, but like yesterday, I had to go get a echocardiogram.
What
do you call it?
ECG. Echo T.
Yeah. But that's the one where it's kind of like an ultrasound, right? You take an ultrasound of the heart.
The echo.
Yep.
Right. And
So
then
you
I
don't
gotta
have
go.
any results?
What?
You don't have any results of that yet?
No, it was yesterday.
Okay.
And then they're putting this on, and then I gotta go for a CT scan of the heart, which is apparently different than a basic CT scan.
Yes.
That and they've got to, because of the dye they have to use.
Is it different dye? Because they put dye in you either way.
Yeah, and the dye that they use for that CT is actually scarce right now. So make sure.
Oh yeah, I don't have an appointment till July.
Yeah,
that makes sense
to get that. But I it's funny when I left the cardiologist, I had an appointment quickly. But then it was the people at the appointment said, "No, you need a CT scan of the heart. That's different."
Yeah.
And so we went through a whole big rigmarole, and then
the dye is scarce, so they're trying to make sure that they maintain a stock of the dye for emergency procedures before they schedule anything that's non-emergency.
Yeah. So Mike and I were talking like throughout the day about the guest that was coming on, and different ideas we have about the show, because we really need to make the show more palatable to a wider group of people. It was one of the discussions that we were having. Anyway, when I got out of the cardiologist, I just hit him up and said, are you up for a company? Which is a very Gen X thing to do. No, Gen X I'd have just showed up. But I don't know where he lives. I didn't know where he lives. Now I do. Right? But I didn't know where so I had to call him. And plus it's just, everything going on. It's a polite thing to do. But we actually I went over and hung out at his house for like 2 hours.
You got to meet Dickie.
Oh yeah, Dickie's awesome.
Dickie actually demonstrated for Matt 3 ways that he can wear him as an accessory.
Oh yeah. Dickie was perched on my neck. Perched. Because the back of Mike's furniture is like almost like a flat, like a shelf. There's like a little bit of, and so Dickie came right up on the back of the chair and like laid down like right on the back of my neck. I'm like, I feel like a Viking king.
60-pound pit bull thinks it's a cat.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Yeah, Dickie was fantastic. But it was a very Gen X thing to do. Like, just, hey, what are you doing? Nothing. You want to watch TV for an hour?
You want to do nothing together?
my Gen X moment at McDonald's was explaining to the cashier what a root beer float was.
Oh my God.
That sounds painful.
Yep.
Did they think it was gross when they first heard it?
She had no idea what it was. So McDonald's has
not for nothing, but Erica didn't know. Erica didn't know what a root beer float was either. I had to explain it to her.
Really?
Yeah. And then she tried one, and she's like, "Oh yeah, this is terrific."
That's amazing. It makes sense if you're like 15, 20, but she's. I actually don't know how old she is.
We were the tail end.
It's got to be somewhere in the 30s, right?
We were
36,
yeah, but we were the back end of that. Like, our parents actually went to soda fountains and got that stuff. That's how we knew about it.
Oh I was introduced to
check this out.
I was introduced to a root beer float by my mother. She took me to she heard about a place that made them.
Yeah.
And like, come on, I'm going to show you something. When I was maybe 10.
Yeah.
Dairy Queen was my my first.
No, yeah, we didn't really go to because my mom was really big on the quality of ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the quality of ice cream and the quality of soda make a big difference.
Absolutely.
A&W.
There used to be a little lunch counter on Market Street here in Wilmington. They had a chili dog that it wasn't really a chili dog. It wasn't really chili. They put it. It was this
suck on chili dog.
It was this sauce that the guy's wife made, and it was fantastic. I wish I could find it. Like, it's one of those things that should never have gone away because it was amazing. Anyway, the other thing that they did there was the Sprite float.
Yeah.
Which you never really think about it, but it's a good thing.
No, you know what's funny is for the first time I went to one of the machines I got in Wawa.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have any Coke Zero. So I was like, I don't know what I want, I picked the Sprite, and then I'm like, vanilla Sprite. That sounds terrible. I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
So I did. It's great.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That's another Gen X moment.
Yeah. No. Oh, dude.
Oh, this milk smells horrible. Here, smell it.
Taste this.
Yeah,
I used to do that, dude. I had a friend named Mike. His last name was Zink. He used to joke that he was gonna name his daughter Kitchen. Kitchen Zink.
Oh, Kitchen Zink. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
He did not name any of his daughters Kitchen. Anyway, like we'd hung out all the time, and I was a sucker, dude. I am a sucker for a cool looking package. If I see a cool looking can, you know what I mean, like Fruitopia had the cool look. There was something that came in the can. It looked so. The can was so like fucking multicolored and decorated. I would just buy it. I was like, all right, I'm trying this. And so many times I'd be like, oh, this is horrible. Try this. And he would go, okay. After a while, he was just going, oh, this is horrible. Try this. He's like, no, if you don't like it, why would I try it? But it took like 4 or 5 times. Oh, this is horrible. Try this. And we used to. You could hand me something. It's like, dude, this tastes horrible. Try it. I go, okay.
Oh, yeah, you're right, man. That's bad.
Fucking bad.
Like Zima.
I don't know. I like Zima. I didn't mind Zima too. Zima tasted like Sprite with alcohol in it.
But it was Zima.
I don't know. I like Zima. I thought Zima was pretty good. I also enjoyed Crystal Pepsi. So that's where.
That was a weird thing, man. Crystal Pepsi.
That was a weird thing. Something clear that tastes like cola. It wasn't.
It didn't register, and like I remember the whole big thing being, why do they put that brown dye in it if they don't need to put that brown dye in it? But you know, the other side of that is, are they putting brown dye in it or are they bleaching it out?
Yeah, I didn't really care. I thought it was good. You know why I thought it was good? Because the commercials were cool. That's why.
That did have pretty cool commercials. I do
right
remember them.
now. It had Van Halen, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking Van Halen doing Pepsi commercials, dude. Well, not for nothing. I know I'm probably an oddball, but I enjoy, because I have to deal with the zero sugars.
Yes.
I enjoy Pepsi Zero much more than I enjoy Coke Zero.
Okay.
I am the opposite. I think Coke Zero has a lot more flavors.
Coke Zero tastes exactly like Coke.
More so than it doesn't taste like Diet Coke, though.
No, but Pepsi Zero does not taste like Pepsi. I just like the flavor because what it tastes.
In this cup is Coke Zero cream soda.
Oh, from Wawa?
From the Wawa.
Oh yeah. Cream soda Coke Zero is one of my favorites. But like if I buy I also consider Pepsi Zero to be a morning soda.
Okay.
Yeah, because I have right now we have 3 types of soda in the house. We have Coke Zero, Pepsi Zero, and Coconut Dr. Pepper Zero.
Coconut Dr. Pepper.
It is fucking delicious.
That sounds good.
It is really. It's like a dessert.
When my buddy Dave was staying with us, he was chasing down the cream soda, the vanilla cream Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper. That is okay.
And mixing it with whiskey. Which I have one, man. That was fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's good. But this coconut Dr. Pepper, it tastes like candy. It tastes like a dessert. It is so good.
Is that Wawa also?
No, we have to. I don't think you can get it at Wawa. As a matter of fact, it's hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
We found it at a ShopRite. You got to buy it. It's in cans.
Oh, okay.
So you got to buy cans of it. And I hate cans. I'd much rather buy a bottle.
Yeah.
They seal up, and like A can of soda is like half a serving to me.
Yeah, and I would need like 4 to fit this cup.
Right. So then you've opened up 4 cans of soda, and now
Now you feel fat.
you're just filling up your fucking recycle bucket.
Yeah.
It just seems a little ridiculous to me. I always do the math on soda too. That's how dorky I am. Like if there's a sale, I'll do the math on per ounce and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. That's another Gen X skill that got lost.
Erica does it.
Nice.
Yeah. Erica does that. Her mom taught her that.
My mom taught me. My mom was also big on coupons.
You gotta know how to read those labels in the supermarket because
dude, let me tell you something. Coupons, supermarket, fucking those scanning cards or whatever club the supermarket's got. My wife belongs to this fucking thing where she scans her receipt, and then different products give her different points.
Yep.
And then when she gets like 22,000 points, or 25,000 points, she can cash it in for a $25 gift card to like Amazon or a $25 gift card to whatever. But just buying shit that she normally buys, takes pictures of the receipts and just collects points.
Yep.
She does like coupon, like if there's she buys gas with certain credit cards, certain months
for the
cash back, and she plays all those games.
Does she do Upside?
I don't think so.
I'll send you a link to join Upside. It's awesome.
Okay.
I've heard of it. I keep meaning to join it. That's the same thing where you buy gas at certain pumps, right?
Well, you can go on and look at where the best prices are for one in the app, but you also it also shows you the price over here might be a couple cents more, but they've got a better deal. So like sometimes you'll get as much as 25 or 30 cents a gallon back on your fill up.
You should put that in the group. Put that in the group chat. I want to take a look at it. You have to like pay out on the front end, but you accumulate all these cash backs, and then once you accumulate so much money, you can bump it to your bank account, or you can get a gift card. Yeah, I like it.
And I was using it when I was driving for Uber, and I was good for $50 to $70 fill up a day.
Nice.
So I mean, some of them I was only getting 5 or 10 cents back, depending on what was available. But if you do so many fill ups per month or so many transactions per month in it, you get a bump up on that. And a lot of times it'll also let you stack it with the gas station deal. So like sometimes, like if you have the BP app or the Exxon app or whatever, they'll say, okay, if you get 3 cents back per gallon here, you can stack the Upside on top of it a lot of times. So you get it in 2 places. Really works.
I like that kind of.
That's right. But yeah, it's definitely a cool program. I'll send you links.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
This thing fucking itches. If they'd have fucking told me that they needed to shave me to put this fucking thing on me,
you'd have shaved.
Or if they'd have told me that this was going to go on, I didn't know this was happening. I went in for the fucking echocardiogram. And then I'm walking out, and they're like, oh, no, we're going to put a heart monitor on you. And I'm like, oh. And then this woman comes in with like this old fucking razor.
Yeah.
And it's just so I want to rip this thing off so fucking bad. It's just killing me.
It's regular tape or is it Tegaderm?
I don't know. It's whatever comes with the monitor.
Is it clear or colored?
No, it's that patch that it.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, yep.
I just saw it. It's the patch that it's like comes with it. It fits into it. No, Tega doesn't itch that bad. I love Tega.
That's what made me wonder if he could switch to Tegaderm, but
Tega breathes.
Yeah,
that's the best thing about it.
I mean, it's just the shaving part, and then it's not shaving all like Like there are some pieces of it on hair. So, and then like hair that is right next to the shaven part is like touching the shaven hair. And that itch, it's driving me up a wall. It's driving me
You can
up a
probably
wall.
you can probably slap it.
Yeah.
Like the
You can
black
tap your
girl hair
tap
flap?
your weave.
Or like you just
Tap
got,
your weave, baby. Tap your weave.
like you just got your hair did.
Mm-hmm.
The first time I ever saw a woman do that was I was driving for Uber. It was 6 o'clock in the morning, and this woman walked out with trash bags as luggage.
Mhm.
With this thing around her head. She smelled like liquor. And she was doing this. She kept doing this. And for some reason, I just thought she had head lice. And because she's got like trash bags, like laundry with, like, I don't like what's going on here. And she asked me to stop at McDonald's. I stopped at McDonald's. She threw up in the drive-thru. Like she opened the door and threw up.
Oh.
She didn't get any in the car. But I could not wait to get that woman out of my car. And I lived in West Philly and I never drove in West Philly again. I would literally go to the airport and turn the fucking thing on.
Yep.
I wouldn't turn, because what I did at first was I'd go sit in the parking lot of my apartment complex and just turn it on and sit there.
Yeah.
But you don't get much, especially if you're on if like you're connected to the Wi-Fi, it won't give you nothing. You got to be off Wi-Fi.
Well,
I learned that.
What I found was I had to be unless I was paused, because they did come up with a pause feature. If I was paused and ran in to take a leak and then unpaused, I'd be fine. But if I just went out to turn on, if I was at the house, I had to drive a minimum of 1,000 feet away before it would hit me with a ride. I could drive 2 blocks and bing, all of a sudden get a ride. But if I sat in the driveway, I get nothing.
Yeah, I learned that. The hard way.
They don't want you turning it on while you're still getting ready and going out. They want you to be ready to roll.
Up and moving, yeah.
Well, it's 11:37, guys.
It sure is.
So I think we should bring this episode home there, Mike.
Yeah, I'm gonna put a cap on this one and tell you that on behalf of Big Daddy, Matty Rockdeff, I'm Professor Mike Latoris, coming from to you live here in Uncle Butch Studios, ending up episode 189. We'll bring you big 190 next week. This has been the C Block, and we will see you next week on the Media Virus Podcast. And we're back on the C Block. Son of a bitch.